Okay, all right.
Tick tock, time to rock.
Rock. Tick tock, time
Tick
to rock.
tock, time to rock.
Time.
Said tick tock, time to rock. What? Hey,
Time. Yes. What's up?
hey, how's everyone doing?
Good. How is everyone doing?
It's time to rock. Oh, hey, before I forget, AP,
Good point. Yeah.
I always come up with great ideas right as I'm falling asleep, and then I sometimes I wake up and I was like, oh my goodness, I had the greatest idea in history right before I fell asleep, and then I can't remember what it is. And then so I realized at some point I should write it down, but then I always forget. And I'm always, no, I'll remember this awesome idea. And then like 90% of the time, I don't remember what the awesome idea was. But anyway, I remember what the awesome idea was last night, right before I fell asleep. You know how you've been working on that song that's a parody of WAP?
Yeah.
But it's about the Quran?
Yeah.
You still working on that?
Yes. It's called WAB. Yes.
Yeah. But it actually fits better with the meter if it's Prophet, and then it's also called WAP, right?
Yeah.
So after you finish your book version, I think you should make the lyrics for a version about Muhammad.
Easy.
Weak ass prophet, right?
Yes. Easy.
Do that. And so anyway,
I'll work on that right now.
Yeah. We need the lyrics. It's got to be dope, right? We need dope lyrics. But then I'll actually go to a studio, rap the whole thing, and I'll get vocab to be in the music video as dancing as Muhammad. We'll have to figure out because all the stuff, but I'm thinking it'll just be sources for the stuff that's popping up, and then Muhammad like dancing in front of the sources that are something like that. Anyway, but wouldn't that be a dope video? We might even have to like rent a mansion or something like. Oh no, it doesn't fit. We'll just put him in. We'll just go to the desert. We'll record the whole thing in a desert in front of Muhammad's tent.
We could. I was thinking I could just hire Cardi B for this, but if you want to do something different, we can do that as well.
But wouldn't that be cool if we actually had a full rap song, a full parody version of WAP that's all about Muhammad and him being covered in various fluids and stuff like that? And
yeah, that'll be based.
Because here's the thing, man. The lyrics for WAP, as nasty as they are, reading the Muslim sources is actually way nastier.
Yes.
Right? So it'll be more disgusting stuff, more perverted stuff. And it'll all be about Muhammad. And the sources will be, boom, flashing up on the screen. What?
I also think that the lyrics, as disgusting as they are, would go very well for a song about Islam.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, you get the lyrics. I will actually. We'll actually get professionals to do the video for us, and vocab will definitely be in. But that will be classic.
Of course, this is serious stuff.
And it's extremely serious stuff. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So, you want to update everyone on the elections? As far as I could tell, it looks like what the percentages were from the polls recently seemed like how things were going pretty much exactly.
Yeah, so the election results in Germany right now, as they look, not all votes have been counted, but it's pretty much final. Projected results are that the CDU, which is the Christian Democratic Union, Christian Democratic Party, Conservatives, have 28% of the vote. The AfD has 20%, nearly 21% of the vote. The SPD, the Social Democrats.
Hang on, that's extremely close. You're saying the main party is at 28, and the AfD, which just started gaining popularity comparatively very recently, is already at like almost 21.
Yeah, and they're 10% up from the last general elections. So it is a huge jump. There are some people in Germany who are hoping for the AfD to take over, unrealistically, and especially also because of the whole terrorist attacks and all that, who are now saying, "Well, this is a disappointment. Germany has let us down." I don't see it like that at all. I think the results are very good. I was expecting AfD to be at least 20%, and I was thinking 20%, maybe more. They did indeed get 20%, and this is a this is a good step. It's a huge shift actually toward the the Christian Democratic Union and the AfD. If the CDU were smart, they could form a government together with the AfD and maybe with another party, and then could basically take over and do whatever they want. However, they are not smart. They will have to. They go by lots of elitist, AfD right wing bad kind of thinking. So they will probably try to shut them out and form a government with leftists, which will probably collapse again. They would never learn. But these are good results because the AfD, the right, is rising brutally. And here's the thing: I've always had my reservations with the AfD, with the Alternative for Germany. Um, they they
I still do.
they have several aspects that I find significantly problematic. But the thing is, nobody among the main parties that were always here is listening to people's concerns. So eventually, a party like this comes along and says, "You're not going to listen. Well, how about this?" And
Like clockwork.
they're getting a huge slap in the face. The big parties.
And a much needed, much deserved slap to the face. And something
Yes.
we've been saying all along. The longer you tell people to go screw themselves when they have sincere concerns about the welfare of themselves and their children and their grandchildren and so on, the longer you put off actually addressing their concerns, the longer you just say, oh, you don't like your daughter being banged by an immigrant, well, that just means you're a racist. The longer you do that, the bigger the reaction is eventually going to be, right? Because people are, their anger about the way things are is building and building and building and building and building, and the longer you make that anger build, the bigger the reaction is going to be. And governments keep doing this because they're stupid.
What's most likely going to happen, though, is that for those who are not familiar with German politics, the CDU, which is the Christian Democratic Union, as much as conservative as it sounds, is actually is the mainline conservative party in Germany, but they are basically responsible for all the mess that is going on. They are responsible for the huge refugee waves, for letting people down and lowering the support of the nation, letting everyone in, refusing to send people back, and so on, and just ignoring problems left and right, collaborating with the left. Most likely, they will probably once again try to form a government by collaborating with the left, with leftist parties, and try to build another fragile government. And I hope, if they do that, I hope it collapses again.
It will collapse.
That's what happened last collapse.
Yeah, people are saying them and this other group, and then the left party, and they're saying these guys don't agree on anything, so they're not going to get anything done, and so it's going to collapse.
Their entire thing right now is like their entire fundamental way of functioning right now is, let's do something as long as we do not work with the AfD. And if you just go like this, it's you are not gonna get anywhere.
Especially if that group goes from 5% to 10% to 15% now to over 20%.
Yeah,
and especially since the jihadis are not going to stop what they're doing, so they're going to keep the stabbings up and so on. And so guess what's going to happen? The coalition government isn't going to be able to get anything done, and the attacks are going to continue, and therefore then the AfD is going to be 25% and 30%. How are you not going to deal with these guys? Like how? In other words, you're not going to be able to form a functioning government without them. And so if you're saying we're not going to work with them at all, then what you're saying is Germany will never have a functioning government. We would rather not have a functioning government than actually deal with people's concerns.
The one smart thing that they could do is to the leading parties could start addressing certain concerns like
That would be
immigration and
smart.
refugee issues and sending people back and remigration stuff like that. By doing that, they could strategically win people back over and also decrease support for the AfD, because lots of people vote for the AfD not because they want to vote for a right-wing party, but because they are sick of the whole immigration crime and everything,
Yeah.
and they are sick of the fact that they are just being called Nazis and far right for speaking up about that. So the smartest thing that these establishment parties could do right now is to make a switch, make a shift, and start talking about immigration, start talking about sending people back, and things like these. That could start being a fix. But
Yeah. So the reason the AfD party has been expanding rapidly in popularity is specifically because the current parties are telling the people to go screw themselves with their concerns and just call them names and just call them racist. And then you get people, because you and I both acknowledged, yeah, we got some concerns about this party, but we're both looking at it like, okay, if all the others are hell-bent on destroying Germany and handing it over to Islamists, then even if you had a party with some problems, if that party is going to make Germany survive and not be handed over to jihadis, then okay, that's the best alternative for Deutschland. But yes, so the smart thing to do would be for all these other parties, or at least the main couple, to say, all right, guys, we get it, we see what's going on. But if they can't do that, if they can't acknowledge people's actual concerns and start dealing with the problems, then they either have to work with the party they say they're not going to work with, or they have to form a government that will not survive. They will not be able to get anything done, and the government will collapse. So these are the great options for modern advanced Germany. Just how many times have we seen it? Just Islam ruins everything it touches and ends up putting everyone in this situation where
Islam is a religion of peace. I know what you're talking about.
It's peace and tolerance. So everyone, just wanted to update everyone on that. But we have our good buddy Elon. And he's been actually learning some stuff about Islam lately. I've seen him in the past tweet things about various attacks and so on, but recently he tweeted his surprise about a video where a guy was describing how non-Muslims are treated under Sharia. And man, whether you agree with him on other things or not, ladies and gentlemen, I for instance think the Tesla truck looks like my MacBook Pro mated with a toaster oven or something like that. I think it looks like the Cybertruck. I think looks freaking ridiculous. Anyway,
I think it looks kind of cool.
I think it looks like a oh my goodness, it looks like something a 5-year-old design if he was to design his future truck or something like that.
Well, Elon Musk is a 5-year-old.
He sometimes acts like one. So anyway,
if I had leftover money, I would definitely get a Cybertruck. Though
I would get. There are all kinds of things I might get. A Cybertruck would not be one of them. Anyway, so you got these dorky vehicles, right? The point here is, I can think that's the stupidest looking truck I've ever seen in my life. I would massively rather drive the old Ford from Sanford and Son. Anything other than that ugly thing. That doesn't mean that I don't appreciate this man learning some things about Islam and sharing them, because at the end of the day, this guy is really good at drawing attention to things when he wants to and getting a bunch of people to catch on and so on. So if there's anyone in the world I could pick to be well informed about Islam, it's the guy who is really good at spotting problems and then figuring out what to do about those problems. So I really, really hope Elon continues learning about Islam. And whenever he posts something about Islam, you've got the Muhammad hijab crowd who attacks him. How dare you say this, you infidel? What about your dad? What about your dad? But then you have lots of Muslims. No. That's a fringe view. Islam's all about peace and tolerance still going on. So anyway, these are interesting times.
I honestly don't think that Elon Musk is very good when it comes to social and political matters. I think he often goes like a very down a very weird path. of believing whatever he wants to believe. However, if he can come out and just be a supporting figure with the whole fight against Islam, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah, if he just plays a small role in helping people understand a little bit more about Islam, oh, I am all in favor. So anyway, guys, here's what happened. Here's what happened. We were talking yesterday. Someone requested us to go through the Pact of Umar. And then AP started looking it up. And then I mentioned Elon had watched a video where a Muslim scholar was explaining how great Islamic rules are when they subjugate non-Muslims, because it puts lots of pressure on the non-Muslims to convert and so on. And anyway, then we decided to go ahead and do a show about that. So what I did after last night's live stream, I went to Elon's page on X, and I took screenshots of just his posts about having something to do with Islam for the past 24 hours. So this was yesterday, but this was last night. But only within 24 hours. There were six. He posted 6 times, or shared something that someone else had posted 6 times within 24 hours. And there were a couple of videos. So we're going to watch the videos, and we're going to see what Elon is interested in as far as what's going on with Islam. We're going to watch those couple of videos, and then we're going to look at the Pact of Umar and how it relates to what this guy was saying. So everyone is horrified at what this guy is saying about how non-Muslims are treated under Islam, and yet it comes right out of Islamic sources. The guy's not making it up, and this is not some weird later interpretation. This is how things are supposed to be in Islam. So we're going to check this out. All right, let's take these first couple of super chats, and then we'll check out some of Elon's recent tweets. Bo Rudder said, I had never experienced waiting for AP before. Well, no one has. Man, it was said that the ladies of Germany could set their clocks by AP going live. Like, you know exactly what time it is. That's the level of consistency.
That's true.
Yo, David, ever thought about checking out Eastern Orthodoxy? You see, we can't do a show now without, you have to be a Catholic, you have to be Eastern. What did I say? How long have I been saying this, AP? Two and a half years? That everyone's got to become more aggressive now with their group, and everyone, you have to check out my group.
Hey, stop dissing Orthodoxy, man. I actually went to church today for the first time. I went to I went to church a few weeks ago for the first time, but today I went to church to attend liturgy fully of my own will with the family, and actually attended it and went through with it. Had basically, I would say, my first actual experience with the liturgy, with the church service. So the cat is out the bag. I went to church today.
That's an Eastern Orthodox church, right?
Yeah, Greek Orthodox. Yeah.
Greek Orthodox.
Yeah.
So AP. So let's see. Zach says, would highly recommend attending a divine liturgy at least once in your life. So now you've done it once in your life. Do you also recommend that?
It is very good. It's very moving.
Is it based?
I love it. I loved it. It was. I know why people say so many good things about it. It is a very ancient liturgy. It is beautiful.
So, did they say, now that you've come to liturgy, you have to hate the Jews? Did they tell you that? Or is that just the online Orthobros?
Most people did say that at church, yeah. Yeah, you only find that on.
You gave up because you're thinking, crap. There are always people who don't understand when we're joking, and so I better clarify that.
Yes, that happens only online for some reason. In real life, Orthodox are very, very, very cool. So I went to a Greek Orthodox church under the ecumenical patriarchate, and it's very, very, very nice.
Fight down with the patriarchy.
Yes. And I'm going down this path right now. I don't know what's going to happen.
Only one
the
way
priest
to find it.
actually talked to me today. He came over to me and sat down and talked to me about how things are going and all that, and where I am with faith issues and all that. And I don't know. I promised to stay in touch with him. I still told him I'm not sure what I am doing right now, faith wise, but I am on a path and I like where this is going. So yeah, I don't know.
Sehr interessant. Yossi says, wonderful meeting you by DebateCon. Just had a quick question. Was Nadir Ahmed willing to fill in for Comedy Central because I heard you were running? Yeah, Yossi, I don't know. I assume Nadir is always willing to do anything for attention. The problem is no one likes him. Muslims don't like, that's the point. There's no point in debating someone. All he does, as soon as you agree to debate him, all he does is spend the entire debate deflecting to something else and then challenging you to other debates.
Yeah, honestly,
and no one likes him. No one ever walks out of there going, "Wow, what a great debate ever." Again, you want someone that someone is remotely interested in, and that's just not Nadir. No one's interested in him. His Muslims don't like him. Non-Muslims don't like him. Everyone thinks he's the most annoying person ever. I mean, it's just not. No one is interested in engaging with Nadir for any sort of real debate. Guy's a joke.
As the whole thing broke down, and Central Dawa was not going to debate me anymore, James asked me if I would be willing to debate Nader Ahmed. I just outright said no.
Yeah, we're not interested.
I even said, even if we don't find anybody, even if we don't find anyone for this event, and I know we have very limited time, even if there's only Nader Ahmed available, I'm not doing it. Yep. Sorry. We have to do something else.
I was debating Nadir many years ago. It was in a church. We had 2 debates. I forget if it was on the same day or 2 separate days, but it's like, is Islam a religion of peace and is Christianity a religion of peace? And the pastor, hang on, I'm still got a cold.
Very rude. In the middle of a live stream, he's coughing. This is like very unprofessional.
The pastor comes up to me after one of the debates and says, "Yeah, just had to give you a little input here. You were crushing this guy so bad that towards the end, I think he was kind of winning like sympathy points because it's like you're up there and at first you're just destroying him, but then it was like you're just up there clubbing a baby seal." It's just like, and you're just beating the baby seal and just beating it and destroying it. And he's like, but you're kind of making us feel bad for the guy. So be careful with that. I'm like, so anyway, this is debating Nadir Ahmed. He gets sensitivity points for beating him too horribly. And so, no, but the real issue is, again, it's a debate with Nadir always, here's how it works. And guys, I've debated him several times. There's just never any point. No one is ever concerned about him losing because no one cares about him. And therefore, what are you doing? What are you accomplishing by defeating this guy? But every single debate, so he'll say, okay, I'll step in for that debate. And then you debate him. And in that debate, he will challenge you to other debates. I challenge you to debate me on this. And I challenge you to debate me on that. And I challenge you to debate me on this. You're not even interested in the guy debating. He'll sit there and challenge you to 10 different debates. And if you ever get to a point where you say, I'm not interested in having 10 more debates with you. Then he runs, everyone is running from me. Look, everyone is running. And it's just so freaking pathetic. He gets to the point, he's like, dude, we are not interested in interacting with you. It's freaking embarrassing.
The funniest thing is how always he always turns up in comment sections and chats with fake profiles saying Nader Ahmed is the best Muslim apologist that I have ever seen. He has debunked all of you. It's clearly him. Yeah. No single Muslim around there actually believes that Nader Ahmed is a good Muslim apologist.
I actually caught
him with fake profiles.
I actually caught him once. He showed up after he got destroyed in a debate, and then he showed up and started praising himself in the comments section. And I went to a couple of his articles, and then how this guy was typing, and I called it like textual criticism and something like that. But I was like, notice how this guy puts a space after a parenthesis and before the period. Oh, look, so does Nadir Ahmed, right? And so it's all these little weird features of Nadir's writing that this mystery fan seemed to have the exact same weird tendencies in writing. But yeah, that's Nadir. Some people want attention, and sometimes you want to give people attention who want attention. Like all the Dawa guys want attention. Sometimes you want to give them attention. if they can get attention from their own people, sometimes you want to give them attention, especially if they're narcissists, because it builds them up, and the more damage they'll do. Someone like Nadir, he's never going to have fans, so it's irrelevant.
Powerful. See, coughing again.
Oh,
Terrible.
pretty
Terrible.
bad, man. Let's go through these. Pray for the 70 beheaded Christians in DRC. Yeah, McCrae just emailed me. I didn't look at it, and he just texted me, in fact, and said, working on a video on the 70 Christians killed. One part, talking media hesitation to calling out. Strong examples. Okay, yeah. John's making a video about that. John McCrae. So that'll be something to check out. Free Boualem Sensal, French Algerian author and critic of Islam. He was abducted and imprisoned by the Algerian police 3 months ago. Sensal is a bold free thinker, defender of Western values, and proud Zionist. Are you looking this up, AP?
Mm-hmm.
Who's this?
Some old-looking guy, 75 years old. In January 2025, the European Parliament voted on a resolution calling for the release. In December 2024, Boualem Sansal in poor health was transferred to a care unit. Wait, his arrest? Where is he arrested? November 2024, Boualem Sansal was taken into custody in Algiers by the police. He risks conviction for undermining national unity. Criminal proceedings are also opened against Boualem Sansal, and so on. Interesting. Got to look into that.
Useful idiots. AfD are Nazi. AfD leader kisses her Asian wife. Lol, this world is becoming one big Monty Python sketch. Incredible. Yeah, and her. Of course, Israel has a right to exist. They have to be able to defend themselves.
And we are the only party that will defend the Jews in Germany from the Muslims. But yeah, it's true. They are the Nazis, bro.
Yeah.
Totally Nazis. That's exactly what Nazis do.
Yeah. The West failed. Salwan Momika, this man could be alive if these cowards had stood on the principles the West stands for. Instead, his blood is on their hands. May God have mercy on their souls. Yeah, and then instantly after that, when someone tries to do something with the Quran as a show of solidarity, the British government says, here's where you can find the guy. So they're active participants in trying to off these dudes. Jackson H. needs new pants after seeing those jets.
Jackson. Well, this today was the funeral for Hassan Nasrallah, the dead guy, and Jackson Hinkle was there in the stadium where thousands of terrorists came together to celebrate the death of Hassan Nasrallah, and apparently during the funeral proceedings, Israeli war jets actually on very low thing flew over the place, the stadium.
Oh yeah, that is not a good place for grifters, man. That exposes the grifters.
But all they did was just to fly over the place to be like, hey,
hey, if we wanted to, we could. Nothing you could do to stop us.
We could just bomb all of you right now.
Thank you, D. Wood and AP. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I, David Wood, think that Islam is the greatest religion of all time.
Wow.
Christian theology and apologetics. Powerful.
That's powerful.
By the way, Dizzle, do you know Frank the Nigerian? Yeah, I've been on his show. If so, I hope it's possible to make a stream with him about the situation in Nigeria and Africa in general. Yeah, no, I was on with a couple months ago. Back a couple months ago with him.
You've been in Nigeria? That's weird.
No, just on his show.
Oh. Okay.
Can't send super chat. Showing message not set. Edit and try again. Well, this you're literally saying that in a super chat. May the prayers of the Theotokos be with you guys. You see?
Oh.
AP, would you consider hosting a video from someone who wants to criticize Islam anonymously if it was very well made? What do you mean hosting a video?
Depends on how it was made, what it looks like, the contents, and so on. But sure, yeah, why not?
Yeah, share it with him on Twitter, and if it's super dope, then he'll like it, and then you could say, "Hey, share it."
Yes.
Ezra knows why you stutter. Ezra knows why you hide. But does Lord Elon know why the Jews worship Ezra? Doge hereby needs to install the Ezra department. Only by the power of Ezra shall Elon succeed. I would start doing all kinds of stuff to troll guys with Ezra stuff. Ezra and the Garkid tree. I would seriously be planting Garkid trees all over. all over Israel just to
Allahu
troll
Akbar.
these guys.
Allahu Akbar.
Missed Mike Lacona coming to my school today because I had an assignment. Also, what video is they're urinating, it's what they do clip from? That's not up there anymore. Didn't he take that down?
Yeah, urinating upon one another is from a video that he published, that Mohammed Hijab published a few days after he threatened me, and one day after um, he started just spamming our live stream and saying, "How about you get on your knees? How about you urinate upon one another?" and so on. He then made a video explaining himself.
Here's why I send messages about these guys giving each other golden showers.
And then he deleted the video in which he explained it.
You gotta love this guy, man. No, don't know what drugs he's on, but that's some powerful stuff, man. Powerful stuff. Yeah, so that video is no longer available, William. Sadly, Hijab is a coward, so he took it down.
I still have it on my
AP's got the video.
I have all the videos.
Yeah. You guys have spoken quite a bit about the UK and Deutschland, but I've been wondering how cooked is France in your estimation?
I don't know. I don't want to speak about France.
Yeah, no one cares about France. But guys, it's the same situation with all these places. All of them could still deal with the problem. There are just very little signs that any of them are close to dealing with the issue. And the longer they put it off, the worse the solution the worse the solution's going to be. At many points for a long time could have been dealt with completely peacefully, calmly. Deal with the sources, expose Islam, get people out who want to do you harm, and so on. Stop bringing in people who want to do you harm. Very simple solution. Now, by the time people catch on and realize the problem, there's going to be millions of people who want to slaughter them amongst them. And so what do? You're gonna end up with a bloodbath. That's a problem, and it could have been avoided. Now,
I don't
now not so much.
About France. I don't want to talk about France. I don't want to hear about France. I don't want to see.
Translation: He loves France. Can we all agree Islam was created out of spite? Yes.
Yes.
Pope should have never opened those Roman prison doors.
Should have.
Sending love to my favorite pair of handsome boys. That's us.
Oh, thanks.
We're everyone's favorite pair of handsome boys. Make Hagia Sophia great again.
Alhamdulillah.
There are Muslims who are creating conspiracy theories about Elon Musk in Reddit because he knows Islam is problematic. How do we counter these propagandists?
We don't.
Just prove him right whenever he's saying something that is correct. And so that's one of the things we're going to be doing right now. Cursive, red letter, spelling out. Oh, that's a super sticker. Thank you. Ida. That's right. Ida, right?
Yeah.
Ida. Sarah says, I get your anger, AP, but do not repay evil for evil. Good point. Stop repaying evil for evil all the time.
Okay, but I don't know what you're referring to, Sarah.
Stop repaying evil for evil. It's not rocket science, AP.
But what evil am I repaying with evil?
I don't know. That was from a couple minutes ago. And you're so enraged from topic to topic that no one can tell like what anything refers to. Have you considered the Good Fields Goat Barn of our Lord Non-Judgy Church? We have fog machines, spotlights, and a coffee shop in the stables. Join or else. That sounds pretty good. David, how do you feel that my last name has one more letter than whom we shall not name? P.S. I hope AP will love Christ as we do and as he does us because we're proud of that. Yeah, your name, Jordan, is dangerously close to the nerdiest name of all time. Love your rosary, AP.
Thank you. I do too.
Love you both. D-Wood, what do you think of a logical philosophical breakdown of Islam versus Christianity in a video series such as Internal Inconsistencies and Logical Fallacies for More Western Muslims? Wasn't thinking of exactly that. I was thinking for several years making a series on logical fallacies, but just using examples from Dawah for all the fallacies. Because people do that is like, there are tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of logical fallacies, but they're like a good six to eight that keep coming up over and over again. So people need to learn these because they're so common. And I was thinking about doing a little series on that, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Doesn't Title 18 of the U.S. Code, Section 233(9)(a) mean that Jackson Hinkle should get arrested upon arriving to the U.S. for supporting a terrorist group? I don't know exactly about the exact code, but supporting a foreign terrorist organization is supposedly frowned upon.
Well, as far as I understand it, and as far as I have seen the responses in legal terms, what he did so far on his little journey, on his little trip to Terroristan, is a crime. He did directly support a proscribed terrorist organization, an enemy of the United States, and provided support for them on multiple different levels. It looks like he would be he could be arrested when he returns to America if somebody is actually onto it, and I hope he does.
So you're saying there's a chance, and we should make sure someone's onto it.
Yes.
So you're saying that everyone should be taking his posts and contacting various government officials on X and so on.
Yes. Because here's the thing, some people think, but it's free speech, we have free speech. Okay, yes, you do have free speech. You have free speech to say all kinds of ridiculous, messed up, horrible things. But if you actually go out there and you openly and publicly support and celebrate
and endorse a terrorist
organization that actively engaged in and will in the future again engage in fighting against your civilian population and your troops, the soldiers of your nation, which is not something to be joked about in the United States, right? You are encouraging others as well to cheer on those people who directly endanger the lives of your own nation's troops and all that, and that is no longer a matter of free speech.
Mm-hmm. Yep. In other words, that's not under the category of freedom of speech. 100 underlined twice. Super sticker. Thank you, UK. Dizzle, what's in your thermos? No, it's not a thermos. It's a big cup. Yeah, tragically, it is iced coffee with milk, which is not what you should be drinking if you're sick. I should be drinking hot tea or something like that, but I wanted the caffeine, so I paid the price. And I'll be paying the price.
Powerful.
My channel has a bunch of dumb dawa videos. Nice. You want a bunch of dumb dawa videos, get ready, because Ramadan's coming up here in a couple days. Got my coworker to start saying, and we're proud of that, no doubt. And wanted to show him that's what they do. Clip. AP, release the clip. Release the clip. Release urine.
I'm not sure if I can do that, but I'll probably share it somewhere else, inshallah, soon.
It'd be funny if ever all the coworkers are. Talk to Armin. Is Atheist Republic about enjoying you three together? Would like follow up on Shia Dawas. Him and his co-host said they'd love to, but their channel covers a lot of news. Perhaps easier if you guys host. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I like Armin. Definitely, Armin's the go-to guy on anything dealing with Iran. He always understands.
He's a good guy. He's a goat.
Yeah, he's a pretty good guy. And we have new trend in not no space for Islam, and no space for Islam.
Interesting.
That's a new trend. And I'm still struggling to believe hijab and the other helium-voiced Dawaginis actually believe in Islam after having to come up with new lies for decades. Yeah, you wonder at what point is it like obvious? If you keep making things up to defend your religion, at what point do you start thinking this guy, there's no way he thinks this is true if he knows he has to constantly lie for it? And so that's the issue we're in. Or do you think, since lying has always been part of Islam, do you justify it and say, well, as long as I'm getting people to believe in it, it's good. So if I have to lie to get people to spend eternity deflowering virgins in Jannah, then it's I'm doing them a favor. Because I have seen that. We have seen Muslims even saying to other Muslims, yeah, we lie to get people into Islam, but are we harming them? No, we're doing good for them. Is it wrong to have had a crush on a Muslim lady as a Christian man? I should have preached Jesus to her if I truly loved her, but I didn't. I'm a failure. Well, you learn from your mistakes. Yes, if you see a hot Muslim woman, yes, preach the gospel to her.
Shame on you.
D. Wood Chesterton. If every human being lived 1,000 years, every human being would end up either in utter pessimistic skepticism or in the Catholic Creed. How long before you become Catholic, David? So here we have it, AP. Every show, become Catholic, become Orthodox, become Catholic, become Orthodox. Any topic. When we're talking about Sharia. Isn't this interesting?
I have a rosary. I like rosaries. I'm collecting rosaries right now. It's a very, very base thing. And I'm actually, I have been practicing the rosary, no joke, for a month or so now.
Powerful.
There it is. See, I said it. It's very based.
Very, very based.
To an Orthodox church now, so I don't know. But at the same time, I still don't identify as a Christian at this moment, so it's kind of funny.
So you're just a weirdo. He's a weirdo. What weirdo? People call him strange. He don't care though. Hey, all right, let's check out some of Elon's tweets, and then we'll get back to you got to be Catholic. No, you got to be Orthodox. You got to be Catholic. You got to be Orthodox while we're trying to study Sharia. Elon. So check this out. Again, guys, so if you jumped in here late, we talked about Elon a little bit yesterday, learning about Islam. So after the show, I went back for the previous 24 hours, for the 24-hour period from yesterday when I went through his tweets and found six tweets within 24 hours that had something to do with Islam. Let's go ahead and check them out. So here, Elon Musk retweets an end wokeness tweet. He says, actually true. And the end wokeness tweet says, Germany in a nutshell. And you've got something that's actually going on in Germany right now. You have terrorists. And so, I killed infidels with my car. What are you in for? I insulted a guy because there's the big 60-minute special where the German government is explaining, yes, now insulting someone in Germany is a crime. And even insulting someone online is a crime. And they consider insulting someone online even worse, because if you just insult someone with your words, then the words kind of disappear. But if you insult people online, it's like there to stay. And so they take it more seriously. Weird stuff. So Elon is apparently concerned about this. I as well. In fact, we saw J.D. Vance. This is one of the things J.D. Vance brought up, that now you have people locking people up for things like insults and so on, or at least charging them with things. And the idea of the United States and Europe working together and so on has been on the idea of shared values. And J.D. Vance was like, "What if this is what you're becoming? What values do we share? It seems like we share fewer and fewer values." Anyway, this is Elon Musk reposting. This is him reposting Fox News article.
Wait a minute. Elon Musk reposts the article reporting about Islamists killing 70 Christians in Congo. This is very Islamophobic, man.
It's actually important because, as people have pointed out, so it's good that Fox News shared it, and I'm sure maybe a couple of others have been shamed into sharing it. But it's just, you normally have to go to like obscure sites or to Christian sites that there are groups like Open Doors and so on that focus on drawing attention to things. You have to go to sites like this because the mainstream media just will not report on all this stuff that's happening. Because, I mean, think about this. If they post, the jihad attacks happen every day in Africa. And Nigeria, there are more Christians being killed for their faith in Nigeria than in the rest of the world combined. If the Western media reported on all these attacks, it would completely destroy their narrative. Like completely. What's their narrative? That Western nations are picking on Muslims and poor Muslims are just want to live in peace, and Western nations keep abusing them, and so that's why we have to take them in because we're the ones that cause all their problems and so on. That's the narrative they want to keep pushing. If they spent just a couple of months reporting the actual news of Islamic terrorist attacks, it would completely destroy that. People would be going, "What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? These jihadis are relentless everywhere they're going, attacking everything. You want to bring a bunch of these guys in? This doesn't make sense. Look at what they do. Look at what they do in their own countries." So,
well, you know what's funny? So first off, it has to be acknowledged and much respect and thanks to Fox News for reporting on this, but Fox News itself was quiet about this whole thing as well as it was going on. The news came out for days, nobody reported about it. Fox News actually then reported about it and said 70 Christians beheaded in an African country, world mostly silent. It is a kind of a funny thing, because when they say world mostly silent, that doesn't just include all the other media, mainstream media. It also includes them. They were also quite late on reporting that. But then the good development is that they eventually did finally make a report on it, and maybe this will set an example to report on such things more quickly and more carefully, and draw more attention to it, because as you said, we have reports that show that Christians are by numbers the most persecuted religious group in the world, and much of the persecution, possibly most of it, is done by Islamic groups. Per capita, it is Jews are the most persecuted group, but by total numbers, Christians are the most persecuted group, and the Muslims happen to be the perpetrators here. Muslims are not the most persecuted group, but we always talk about them. If the narrative finally shifts and we talk more about the fact that these Islamic groups keep killing Christians around the world, maybe this will do something.
And guys, here's something that's really, really good. So, I mean, it sucks, but here's the silver lining on this dark cloud. So Fox eventually reported the news, and then Elon shared it, and then tons of people start sharing it. But people have been talking about how regular people are taking over the media, right? Like we're human, regular people are capable of spreading the news like we couldn't before. Back in the day, if you go back 20 years, everyone was dependent on the news. Like everyone is dependent on the mainstream media to share the news. So these guys got to select whatever story they wanted you to hear. Now we can pick which stories we want, and we can share them ourselves. And so that's a good trend. So you saw it right there. Elon is able to share it. Tens of thousands of other people were able to share it. And so we can do it ourselves. And the main traditional media platforms, they can either adapt and start showing what we want them to show, or they become obsolete and outdated and die. Here we have, hey, check this guy out. So Elon reposted this from Hassan Sajwani, who says, every time Elon Musk points out terrorism and radicalization coming out of Europe, I recall when in 2017, UAE Foreign Minister H.H. Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed warned Europe of this. Listen to it. Isn't this interesting? So there's a foreign minister, H.H. Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed, warning Europeans about what's happening, what's going to happen. Elon retweeted this. Why is this interesting? Because this actually seems like people trying to warn Europeans, because you do have people in the Muslim world who want to prosper and develop prosperous countries. Guess what? You can't do that if you have a bunch of jihadis taking over. So they understand how to crack down on jihadis and not give them an inch. And some of these people, like the UAE and so on, some of them actually don't want Europe being taken over by jihadis. And so they're actually warning them. Anyway, I've got that video pulled up. You ready?
Yes.
Here we go. Here's the video of a leader from the UAE warning Europeans that they're going to have some serious problems if they don't figure out how to deal with the jihadis, and him saying, we know how to deal with them. We know what to do.
And let me say this in English so you can understand what I'm saying.
I have translation.
No, I know you have translation, but I just want to make sure you get it right. There will come a day that we will see far more radical extremists and terrorists coming out of Europe because of lack of decision making, trying to be politically correct, or assuming that they know the Middle East and they know Islam and they know the others far better than we do. And I'm sorry, but that's pure ignorance.
You're muted, man. You're muted, man.
That's him, 2017. And he's saying the time's going to come when the radicals, the real radical Islamists who are trying to slaughter everyone in the name of Allah, it's going to be more associated with Europe. It's going to be more of a thing that's coming out of Europe than out of the Middle East. Why? Because the Middle East, we know we have to deal with these guys, and we're not concerned about being politically correct when you're talking about dealing with terrorists. And these guys know more than they let on. Just look at the situation with the Palestinians. They say, hey, why don't we evacuate some of the people of Gaza so that people can rebuild and so on? Temporarily evacuate them to Egypt and Jordan, all these other places, all these countries. No, we are not taking one of these. No, absolutely not. Why? They understand. We do not want a bunch of terrorists among us. Everyone, they all understand it. It's Western nations that are, with more terrorists, please bring them all in so they can stab us in the neck. Yay, we can't get enough. And he's warning us, like, you guys are so obsessed with like being politically correct and stuff, you'll fall for all this stuff. And you'll give them you'll give them a foothold, and they'll use that to build a stronghold, and then they'll be almost impossible to deal with because you won't actually take the problem seriously, and you think you understand Islam and you don't. You're ignorant. You're a bunch of freaking morons. He told them this. Let's go ahead and play that again since it's short. Very based. Isn't it interesting? You have to go to the United Arab Emirates now to get someone speaking common sense information about dealing with the problem of jihad, because you can't find people in Europe with any common sense.
And let me say this in English so you can understand what I'm saying.
I have translation.
No, I know you have translation, but I just want to make sure you get it right.
Isn't that funny? I don't want you to mistranslate this, lady. I'll say it for myself.
Yeah.
There will come a day that we will see far more radical extremists and terrorists coming out of Europe because of lack of decision making, trying to be politically correct, or assuming that they know the Middle East and they know Islam and they know the others far better than we do. And I'm sorry, but that's pure ignorance.
It sure is.
Facts.
It sure is.
This guy sounds like, I don't know, man. To me, this sounds like he's a white supremacist, anti-Muslim, Islamophobic, Nazi, far-right bigot.
He must be the AfD party.
See, this is the proof.
He's the AfD in the UAE. UAE. AfD. UAE. AfD. All right. So I've got that. And Elon's next post. How many times must this happen? Breaking: Berlin's stabbing suspect revealed to be 19-year-old asylum seeker from Syria. How many times? Vote AfD. He shared that from Inevitable West. How many times must this happen? Apparently there's no limit because it's been happening every day. The attacks have been, the stabbings and so on, car attacks, all that stuff. It's been happening every day pretty much out of Europe.
And then just after that, after this incident, the next day another terrorist attack happened, another stabbing happened. So it's pretty crazy. But apparently there is no problem, man. There is no problem at all. Everything is all right.
That's true. Good point. You're making a very valid point there. Then we have this. Okay. Aha! Oh, matter of fact, let me read this last one first, and then we'll go back to that one. So Elon Musk retweeted this one. One of the horrible stories from Rotherham in the UK is when a family called the police about their missing 13-year-old girl. Police found her and another young girl, blind, drunk, and naked in a house full of Pakistani men. Guess who the police arrested? Yep, we've heard that over and over again. And we've heard the stories where a father goes and tries to rescue his girl, and police will arrest the father for trying to rescue his daughter, and they'll leave the daughter with the Pakistanis who are doing all sorts of horrible things to her. They'll arrest the father for trying to save his daughter, and they'll arrest girls. They'll arrest girls being fall down drunk and naked in a house full of Pakistani men who are doing all kinds of things. But the police are so terrified of being called racist and Islamophobes, they'll arrest the girls. And of course, the girls will be taken to jail and so on, then released right back into the loving arms of their Pakistani rapists. And that's the UK. And these are the guys who lecture us on right and wrong and call everyone who disagrees with them Islamophobes. Because they've definitely got their act together, ladies and gentlemen. So now for this one. This is where we actually have a video. And I remember this video from a couple of years ago. But so this is Elon, and he puts the question marks after it. So this is different from just a regular terrorist attack. This is a guy breaking down how non-Muslims are treated in a Sharia-compliant Islamic nation. And he's explaining why it's so awesome and so good. So the comment there is, British religious scholar Abu Walid says it's necessary to impose humiliating laws for non-Muslims in Britain and convert them. That's the goal. You take over, and you impose humiliating laws on the non-Muslims. And this is what actually, over time, converts them, or at least their children or their grandchildren. So let's go ahead and check out that video. I got the video ready. Here we go. So here's the explanation for why these rules about how to treat non-Muslims are super good and should be encouraged.
Equality to all of its members. Is there such a thing in Islam?
No.
Is there equality of faith? If we look to one hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, on the authority of Abu Huraira, Sahih Muslim. So no Sunni Muslim can really argue against Sahih Muslim or Sahih Bukhari.
That's true.
Rasulullah said, don't greet the Jews and the Christians before they greet you. And when you meet any of them on the roads, force them to go on the narrow side of it.
Beast.
So you're walking down the road and someone's walking down the road and you're like, whoa. Get, you need to get on the crap side of the road there, man. You get up against the wall. Get up against the wall. Don't be walking down the middle of the road like you run this street. We run this street. You go over to the side. Dimmy.
I am walking down the road as a Muslim, and I see a Jew and a Christian. I push them to the side of the road.
Yeehaw.
Imam Maliki said the same thing as well. In fact, Umar ibn Khattab, who Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that if there was to be another Nabi after me, it would be Umar ibn Khattab in his own charter, not charter of United Nations, in his charter with the people of Sham, with those Christians of Sham, in his charter was...
Oh, that's interesting. So he attributes the Pact of Umar to the Caliph Umar, even though lots of people think that it's Umar, the Umar the second. But and we're gonna go and we're gonna read the passage. We're gonna read the Pact of Umar in Ibn Kathir. Ibn Kathir also believed that it refers to the Caliph Umar, but this guy does as well.
Kafir and Muslim, they're not allowed to wear the same clothes as one another. If the Muslim, he comes out on the day of Eid and he sees Kafir with nice clothes, the Kafir has to take his clothes off and give it to the Muslims. The Kafir, when he walks inside the street, he has to wear a red belt around his neck, and he has to have his forehead shaved, and he has to wear two shoes which are different from one another.
It would be kind of funny wearing two shoes that are different from each other. So keep in mind, it's messed up what he's saying. He's saying the non-Muslims can't be wearing nice clothes. Therefore, they have to do like dumb stuff. Like they have to wear non-matching shoes that are different from each other. But that's kind of fun because when someone points it out, they're like, hey, you're wearing two different shoes. You can say, oh, yeah, I got another pair at home just like them. Like, wouldn't that be funny?
Yes.
So it could, you could make the best of it. If you're stuck in this situation, ladies and gentlemen, These are terrible, awful people who want to force you to live like this. But if you're ever in a situation where you have to live like that, make the best of it. Wear your 2 different colored shoes, and then when someone points it out, say, yeah, got another pair at home just like them.
He's not allowed to, and he's not allowed to walk on the pavement. He has to walk on. He has to walk in the middle of the road, and he has to ride on a mule. And that's only for the adults, not for the children. And you can see how Islam would make the child become a Muslim. The kafir, or the child growing up in a state of kufr, he will turn to Islam. Why? Because the child will be walking along with his dad. He said, Dad, yeah, why you got your forehead shaved? I don't know whether these Muslims, they make me do it. Why you got to walk? Why can't you ride the animal? Like the Muslims, they ride the animal like this. Why are you walking with both legs dangling on the side of the donkey?
You hear the people laughing?
Very funny. Very funny.
This is how we treat them.
See how funny that is.
This is how we treat them. These are British Muslims, guys. These are British Muslims.
Let's do that to Muslims in the West.
This is how we're going to treat them.
See if they find that funny.
Why is it every time the Muslim comes to you, he asks you for your clothes, you give it? Why is it every time he tells you to get down from the horse, you have to take it? And not only that, he said the kuffar, they can have their churches. They can have their churches, but they're not allowed to ring the bell. And if a Muslim, he's walking by, let's say, for example, a Muslim's been on Edgware Road, for example. He's had some nice shisha, some nice steak, no hubble bubble, we don't deal with anything like that. And he's walking along and he's rubbing his belly and he's like, oh man, I don't want to upset my wife tonight. What he can do, he can go to the church, knock on the door, John, let me in. Okay, no problem. John has to put up Abdul Ghafoor for the night. Abdul Ghafoor with his big belly, having his nice kebab. John has to open up the church and he has to go there and sleep there nice and comfortable and say, all right, John, thank you, and then carry on going.
You hear these guys laughing still? They think this is great. Yeah, guys, these are the guys you invited in, right? These are the guys that you, British people, in your wonderful display of tolerance said, these guys think exactly like we do. All people think exactly the same. And these people are asking for help and refuge. And we should take them in. And you take them in, and they're sitting there laughing about how stupid and gullible you are, and plotting to take over and treat you like this. And they laugh at that. This is amusing to them, like the thought of how incompetent and pathetic you are, that you're going to fall for this, is amusing to them. You are endearingly stupid. All your leaders are endearingly stupid to these guys. They think you're hilarious with how stupid and gullible you are. And it's just amazing because here's the thing, anyone with the ability to read words off a page could look at the Muslim sources and say, this is what Islam aims at. But when we did that for years, quoted the Muslim sources to you saying, hey, if these guys take over, this is what they're going to do. And you said, racist, liars, Islamophobe, bigots, liars, Islamophobe. You've got the guys saying it, openly saying it, and you still won't believe them. And we're still racist and bigots if we say this is what you're up against. Guys are lunatics. I hate to say, average people in Great Britain who don't want this, you don't deserve it. All your leaders and so on, they deserve what they're getting. They deserve what's coming to them. Sucks, but they deserve it. They basically begged for it.
Early in the morning. Which wife is going to live with John under that type of circumstances? What kind of honoring is this for me to live with John and Abdul Ghafoor comes every Friday night and sleeps in our bed as well? Of course. Because sunnah is to look after the guest, innit? I can't make you sleep on my floor if you can't. You're a Muslim, by the way. So what about when Abdul Ghafoor goes to John's house? John, sleep on the floor.
Abdul Ghafoor should go back where he came from.
What's that?
Abdul Ghafoor should go back where he came from. Abdul Ghafoor obviously doesn't belong in John's country. Abdul Ghafoor should go back, should get the heck out of here, should go and live somewhere else where people handle things the way they handle it, because obviously Abdul Ghafoor is not civilized enough to live in a civilized society which built things without him. Because Abdul Ghafoor came to a country that was built by civilized human beings who are actually intelligent people who can be called human beings because they are intelligent and they're different from animals. Apparently, Abdul Ghafoor is not very different from lower intelligence animals that don't have the intelligence that qualifies them to become humans. So Abdul Ghafoor should go back and should get the heck out of here and should live.
Well, you don't even know. Maybe a
Ghafoor
is a donkey or something. You don't even know who this guy's talking about. No, you don't know what he's talking about. He's just naming someone, Abdul Ghaffur, who's this. But you don't know. I mean, they have characters like Farfor the mouse and stuff, right? You think if you just heard, oh yeah, Farfor this, Farfor that, you'd think, oh, he's talking about a no. Farfor is a mouse. So maybe this is a donkey.
The funny thing is that we joke about this, we make fun of this, but as we make fun of this, as we joke about this, as we expose this, this is becoming the reality. These people are openly speaking about it and openly playing with the thought of humiliating the disbelievers. And this guy is not just explaining something that is completely unfamiliar to Islamic history. This is very, very well known in Islamic history. This is well known in Islamic scholarship. It is well known in Islam that specifically in chapter 9, verse 29 of the Quran, one of the most important verses of the Quran, in chapter 9, verse 29, when it commands Muslims to fight the disbelievers, to fight those who don't believe in Allah, and fight those who don't believe in Muhammad, and fight those who don't accept the religion of truth, meaning Islam, among the Jews and Christians, to fight them and to humiliate them and to make them pay the jizya. In the history of Islam, this has been interpreted along with hadiths by Muhammad, along with the scholars, with the Islamic scholars, that the entire purpose is that you would normally convert these people to Islam, but you are not technically to forcibly make people say, I hereby convert to Islam. You are, however, to humiliate them by imposing humiliating conditions upon the disbelievers, and thereby basically coercing them to convert to Islam, because nobody wants to live in humiliation. So historically it was done like that. Once again, I would suggest Robert G. Hoyland's book In God's Path. He explains this very, very well, how the Muslims brutally and violently expanded and then imposed humiliating conditions upon the disbelievers, which then eventually led them to convert to Islam, because nobody wants to live in humiliation. Parents, if they live in humiliation, want their children to no longer live in humiliation, so they think, let's just go. And if they don't have much faith for their own religion anyway, they just go, well, just do what the Muslims say, and be done with it and live in safety, and so on. This is why you should never allow and invite such an invading, disgusting, uncivilized force into your countries, especially if you build your country on the fundamentals of something productive, something beautiful, something civilized, that made these countries so great, that made those other people feel the need to come over here and to live in your countries. You don't need them. And if you think that you need them, you're just fooling yourself, and you are setting up yourself and your future and the future of your country for something really, really bad.
Yeah, really, really bad. As long as you believe that peace and tolerance are really, really bad, because that's what Islam brings. Just watch.
On the bed.
So here he's talking about Abdul Ghaffar can show up to a dude's Christian's house and say, "Hey, I want to sleep in your bed. You get on the floor." The guy has to obey.
And I'll sleep on the bed. What's going to happen? Tracy's going to be on the floor thinking, my husband, he's got a forehead shaved, and this one, look at this one, Khatab, mashallah. Which one's more attractive? We're not gay, but I'm just saying. A man with his forehead shaved
gay.
And one belt around his neck and two different colored shoes, or Amir Khatab. Amir Khatab, we're talking about here now, with that nice Chechen hat, big beard, a bit to the side, yeah? And he's got the badges there, la ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah, yeah? And he's got a big gun, and he's got a big camouflage jacket on, nice boots, gloves as well. Even if he's got a couple of fingers missing, still looks attractive. Yeah? What's Tracy going to do? John's in for a problem. He just let him in for a kebab, he lost his own wife as well. So everyone's going to become Muslim. That is, my dear brothers, the Islamic State.
That is the Islamic State. That's what Islam aims toward. Now, keep in mind, guys, in that entire little discussion there. So this is what these guys are talking about in their mosques. This is what they're talking about. This is what they're training for. And This is what they're training their kids to look forward to. What are regular British people training their kids? Oh, look, under no circumstances should you ever question anything these guys are doing. Think about this. They're saying, hey, we can take advantage of these stupid morons in any way we want. They're too stupid, and we're ultimately going to subjugate them, and we're going to treat them horribly. We're going to abuse them horribly. And you're training your people. If you object to anything these guys are doing, you're a racist, an Islamophobe, and a bigot. If you object to anything these guys want to do, even if they're gangbanging your 12-year-old daughter, just keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut or you're a racist. It's like wild stuff, man. Wild stuff. Wild stuff. But anyway, think about this. He's talking about how Islam wins converts there. And it's all about, hey, if we got the power and we oppress you, and we give you a way out of being oppressed, and the way out of being oppressed is to convert to Islam, people over time are going to convert to Islam. There wasn't one word in there about Islam being the truth, and here's the evidence. Where's the evidence? What would make you think that this is true? Guys, what you just saw, that's Islam in a nutshell. That's real Islam. Why are you going to convert? Because if you don't, we're going to oppress you. And so if you don't want to be oppressed, then join us. That's Islam. All this, the scientific miracles, that's a recent development when they couldn't defeat you by force. And so they realize, hey, if we just tell a bunch of lies, then these guys don't know anything about Islam, so we can just lie and make them think this stuff is true. That's a recent development. That's why it's not lasting very well. And that's why now we can't even find any of these guys who's willing to stand up for Islam. They won't dare. So that, again, that was shared by Elon there. He's like, wait, what? Yeah, Elon. So Elon's catching on. Elon's sharing it. Look at that. My goodness, 236,000 likes, 46 million views there. Interesting stuff. Good that Elon is learning about this. So I'm going to take some super chats, and then we're going to take a look at the Pact of Umbar, ladies and gentlemen, because that's what that guy was referring to. The treatment of non-Muslims in an Islamic state.
That's what they do.
What is this? Gentlemen, why is the U.S. losing faith in Europe while most here are done with Islam? And do you think there will be crusades? Also, nobody likes France.
I mean, Europe is Europe really done with Islam? Because it's like,
doesn't look like it.
It seems like Europe is a little bit slow to be done with Islam or to reverse things.
I don't think you're done with Islam, guys. I really don't think you're done with Islam.
I think you haven't even started.
Yeah, your leaders, I don't know if you've noticed, your leaders are throwing you in jail if you complain about Islam.
I think you haven't even begun to experience Islam. You're in for a wild ride, man. It's too late. Of course, you can still turn things around, but you're in for a wild ride, man. But yes, America, of course, is kind of switching or shifting right now because of Europe's stupid attitude, I would say, toward this whole thing. Like, let's just leave Europe be and focus on our own problems. Which, in my opinion, honestly, is a little bit of a betrayal of things. America should help fix Europe, despite their horrible leaders. And America is also the primary reason why Europe is in a bunch of treaties and alliances together with with America. But that said, it's just kind of exhausting and tiring to see that Europe is so stupid when it comes to their borders, when it comes to their citizens and their safety and their economics. I don't know. If you're really done with Islam, let's see that.
Yeah, we're waiting. The part you're right about is no one likes France. That's true. We should all chip in and get some legit puppets of Mo Hijab and Ali Dawa made so you guys can do skits. Yeah, that would be fun. We're going to need those. Thoughts on German elections? We've kind of already shared our thoughts on German elections.
Yeah, we did it at the beginning.
Yeah, you can always rewind this to see our thoughts on German elections. Bitte für uns Sünder jetzt und in der Stunde unseres Todesel hereby apologize for fellow militant Catholics. Also, is Mini AP baptized? When will he be?
The part that you just read out in German is actually part of the thing of the Hail Mary in German. That means pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. But yeah, no, not yet. Not yet. Going through things right now, though.
You heard it here. Bukhari 33:44. Muhammad lied to convert people. Yes, he did.
He did.
Yes, indeed, he did.
Indeed, he did.
Do you think people in Vatican are even Christians? They aren't doing nothing. We should replace them with passionate and furious people.
Of course they're Christian. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You think they do nothing? Go and visit them. See what they do.
Yeah, see what
they're
happens.
Busy all day.
Yeah, they're super busy doing Christian stuff.
Yeah.
Videos being asked for in chat are on my channel. Jules Beans.
Alhamdulillah.
Like 2CTV, he is based. Yeah, he's got a documentary coming out about a victim of the grooming gang. So
2C is doing good stuff, good work.
He's doing good work. There are a lot of similarities between the Antichrist and a specific prophet. Has any one of you guys ever made a video about it?
Yes. No,
No, he wouldn't be the Antichrist, just to be clear. Muhammad would not be the Antichrist. He's an Antichrist. Biblically, there are lots of Antichrists. But then there's the Antichrist. But Muhammad is an Antichrist and a false prophet.
Powerful.
What?
Nothing.
We'll find that. God, Jesus, get all the glory. Hopefully we can keep America free of subjugation for at least a couple of generations to come. Free UK and Tommy Robinson. Yep. Definitely got some concerns about the UK. Serious question, AP. How do you reconcile the fact that God teaches us to avoid traditions of men and idolatry with the rituals of Catholics?
How do you reconcile the fact that God teaches us to avoid traditions of men and idolatry with the rituals of the Catholics? I don't think that's what you were actually literally taught, but I would say that rituals, certain religious rituals, are always part of being part of the Christian religion. Even in your non-denominational or Protestant church practices, you do things that may not necessarily be biblical, but you establish those traditions with the idea that they are biblical. You thereby establish traditions. It's kind of an interesting paradox, but with Catholicism and Orthodoxy or the early church, you have had traditions that were never really considered contradictory to any of the teachings of the Bible. I don't see any contradictions between the teachings at all, and I see great use and great benefit and great peace in them.
And
but of course, these are things that you might want to talk about more with somebody who is deeper into these discussions.
Yeah, instead of jumping on a guy who's gone to church like twice in his life.
Yeah.
Quit trying to jump on the brand new guy. And D Wood is not Catholic and so on, but you got to be careful with, because it would be pretty common for Protestants to say, "Look, they have a picture of this" or something like that. That's idolatry. When, if you look at the Old Testament and idolatry is condemned, images, making images of things in heaven to worship them and so on is all condemned. And yet God said, build an ark, the Ark of the Covenant. God said, build a temple. And then for decoration of that temple was all sorts of images of things like angels and so on. So I'm just pointing out that it would be very easy to say, look at all that idolatry, and yet it was actually part of it. So
that is a read the description in the Bible of the tabernacle, read the description in the Bible of the temple, and how the temple was designed, how it was meant to be designed. It was full of imagery of depictions or sculptures of living beings and so on. These were not considered idolatry. But and when it comes to one thing that people have a problem with which I kind of thought about for quite a while. And these are not things that I want to have like be very opinionated about and talk lengthily about. But for example, the whole communion of saints and Mary devotion and things like that. It's like I don't really see what the big problem is and what the big deal is. If you consider within your framework of religion, of faith, that these people are these people died and are basically once again alive, and you simply humbly devote yourself to them and invoke their names as an example, and also ask them for prayers, for example. I mean, it's kind of similar to simply asking somebody else who is alive to pray for you. What's the big deal about it?
By the way, so I spent the last 2.5 years telling people that they're all being programmed for division and infighting.
Mm-hmm.
And that they better be on guard against it because otherwise it's inevitable. And here, it does not matter what we're talking about. We're talking about what Islam is gearing up to do to the Westerners that it has in its sights. And what about Orthodox? What about Protestant? What about the Catholic? What about? Isn't that interesting? I mean, I sat there and I told everyone I was coming to this for 2.5 years. And now we can't. You literally cannot talk about Sharia. You literally cannot say, hey, it's good that Elon is actually, no. What about this? I find it psychologically fascinating. Like I can sit here and say, this is what you are going. It reminds me of this is when I started watching Jordan Peterson when he started showing up on college campuses to give a speech, and they would all start shouting him down. And anyway, I remember him saying, "Okay, so I'm going to such and such school, and what they're going to do is they're going to start screaming and shouting me down." And I was thinking, well, now they can't do it because you told them they're going to do it. You told them they're going to do it. And so now they can't do it because then they'll just be proving you right. And he goes out there and all they do is scream and shout him down and stuff. Like, whoa, it's like they can't resist. They do not have the ability to resist what they're being programmed to do. And so it's this funny situation where now I can say, hey guys, I'm looking around. I'm looking at the forces of manipulation that are at work right now in the world and the psychological issues that you're under right now because of what's happening in the world. Here's what you're going to do. And then it's exactly what will happen. It's exactly what will happen. And then, people can't even change it. I can sit here and say, guys, what Islam has planned for people is kind of like a really important issue. Could we focus on that? No. What about the guy praying to a statue of Mary? What about that? Yeah, right. There's that we have to discuss that right now. We just absolutely have to. It has to be this issue right now. It's fascinating.
This is the one thing that kind of pisses me off, or just kind of is exhausting, demoralizing sometimes, which is why I don't want to follow many of the, especially traditionalist people and these zealous people online when they talk about Christianity, for example, especially younger people, politically active people. There is a lot of this thing going on online, always on X. I see it all the time. People with a cross in their usernames trying to make a point to attack other Christians. Orthodox posting about how Catholics are wrong and Protestants are wrong. Catholic posting about how Orthodox are wrong or Protestants are wrong. Protestants posting about how the others are wrong, and so on. It's like, this is like, it's so, I see how tempting it is. And I also see how it's the easiest thing that you can do as somebody who just wants to express that he's a Christian. It's just so easy to do. It's so easy to do, but it's also so simple-minded to do, and it's also so tempting to do. But is it really a good thing to do? It's just when I see stuff like that, I think, what's wrong? Why can't you just stop that stuff and focus on different things, focus on yourself, focus on external problems instead of fighting? It's just, it's so ridiculous to me. And I don't want to engage in that. You know?
It is wild. Here's the thing. People can't resist, though.
Yep.
You're programmed.
It's too tempting.
Guys, the very simple. I've said it 1,000 times before. We have a bunch of people watching now. A very, very brief recap. A person who's living his life and minding his own business and is generally in a state of calm lives his life in one way. Tends to not want conflict and so on. just lives a nice, calm, friendly life. A person who feels like he's constantly being attacked behaves in a completely different way. And we know exactly what happens when a person is whether it's physical attack or whether it's just being attacked with ideas and so on. When a human being feels like he's being attacked, his tendency is to join a group for protection. And once you've joined a group for your protection, whether it's a gang or anything else, when you've joined a group for protection, now you are wired to demonstrate your worth to the group. Your value for your goal is to demonstrate your value to the group. Doesn't mean you're intending to do it. It's just what you're programmed to do. Demonstrate your value to the group. Why? Because you do not want the group to cast you out, because then you'll be alone and you feel like you're in danger. So once you're in the group, everything you're doing becomes to demonstrate your worth and value to the group. And if you're a group that is opposed to other groups, then the tendency becomes for you to demonstrate your value to your own group by attacking these other groups. And I spent the last 2.5 years telling people this, well, longer if I just talking about in general, but this is going to fracture society more and more. But also, it's going to happen to Christians as well. And in other words, you feel like you're being attacked, whatever group you're in, Catholic, Orthodox, Protestant, whatever. Now you're going to become more entrenched in your group, and you're going to become more hostile to outsiders, because that's how you demonstrate how valuable you are to your group. The result is now you and your group are attacking this other group. Now the people in that other group, they feel like they're being attacked more. So who do they rally around? Someone who's going to attack back. And pretty soon, all Christians are attacking in all directions. And guys, not sure you've looked around at the world right now, but this is a bad time to be dividing up. This is a bad time to be attacking each other. There's a bad time for infighting, ladies and gentlemen. You've got stuff that is ready to eat you alive. And what are you obsessed with right now? Let's fight more amongst ourselves because we're the true church.
Don't do that.
I don't know what to do. It's like, this is like the dumbest thing you could possibly do right now. And it's what you're obsessed with. And even as I'm telling you why you're obsessed with it and how you've been programmed and conditioned to this psychologically, you can't even snap out of it. It's like impossible. Like, even as I'm saying this, there's going to be someone, what about the statue of Mary? Wild stuff. Woman in hijab raises sign saying, help me. Look, that sign is, if David went another path in prison. It's got me looking like I'm giving a Elon salute. Italy's PM speaks in the voice of a pleasant woman when talking about Vance and switches to the death metal voice when talking about Muslim migrants. As
she is pretty... She's an interesting speaker. She can get very passionate, but is also very elegant and, I don't know, kind of cool.
So there's hope for Italy.
Italy.
He was humiliated. I put a video on the 70 Christians in the Congo using that video as a source on why Muslims unalived those Christians today.
Good.
Elon Musk can shuck a corn cob for all I care. I'm banned from Twitter for spreading the truth about Islam and in a nicer way than you fellers. That is weird. It seems like there are some remnants of the old Twitter that were never quite dealt with and so on. But yeah, not sure how that works, because I talk trash pretty much all the time, and I'm about to have the funnest Ramadan of all time. I'm flying to Istanbul soon. I want to dress that way. Yes, you definitely want to.
Constantinople? It's called Constantinople.
Istanbul, not Constantinople.
Get it right.
In SDA, what is that? Seventh-day Adventist? In Seventh-day Adventist belief in Revelation, the harlot woman that rides on a beast represents a church of Rome that is unfaithful to her husband Jesus. So Jesus prophesies of the Roman Catholic Church, opposes it, and affirms Protestantism. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the proof. D. Wood, this video is an answer to those who think that Christians just evaporated over Levant and Egypt just like that. No shady tactics were employed. Guys, keep in mind what that guy's saying. It's evil, but it's a brilliant long-term strategy, right? Hey, we will just treat you horribly and let everyone in your population know that at any point they don't want to be oppressed like this, they can get out of it. And guess what? That's a recipe. That's a recipe for winning some converts every generation and reducing the opposing population. Just want to say to all the Coptic Christians, all the Christians in Pakistan and so on who lived under this for centuries and stood your ground as Christians, you guys have been through the fire, and you've got some warriors in your midst. And I've had the first time I was ever interacting with it's funny, some Christians from Pakistan, they were in, I forget if it was Brooklyn or Queens or something like that. But anyway, they messaged me when they found out I was in New York, and they're like, hey, my sister's having a wedding. You're a hero here. Can you come down and be at my sister's wedding and stuff? So I was like, what? They like me? So anyway, so I went down there, went to the wedding and reception and so on. And yep, I was like a rock star to these Pakistani Christians, but they were talking to me and they're like, every Christian here, you could saw our heads off. We would not renounce Christ and become a Muslim. You could saw our heads off. And it's, so anyway, there are Christians who stand their ground and they end up being really tough Christians. Thank you, Guarav. Let's see. I watched a YouTuber called Demi Rep, an older British lady who knows a lot about Islam. Last week, she had 2 progs on slander, Salwan Wilmika, and one on donkeys and Demi's worth a watch. So that YouTuber is Demi Rep, older British lady who knows about Islam. Waleed's description of a true man sounds like Hamas and Duck Dynasty crossover. Ooh, brother. Ooh, what's that? What's that, brother? Yeah, it is weird stuff. God Logic should be Mo's boyfriend in the video. No. You need a super handsome Arab dude. There will be no fight before they take over a whole country. In the early Middle Ages, it took now southern France to fall before Franks did something about it. And that's, if we have to look on the bright side, here's the bright side, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to suck. It's going to suck seeing a place like the UK fall to Islam, but at least I'll be able to say I told you so. No, that's not the real bright side. I'm not important in all of this. But when something goes horribly, horribly wrong for one of these European countries, at least it will serve as a warning to the rest of the world when other people are going, no, Islam just wants peace and tolerance. And like, look, you just saw what happened. You just saw it. Interesting case in Lebanon. In one adult lifetime, demographics are changed irreparably. Only 50 years ago, Christian majority Beirut was Paris of Middle East. Yeah, Lebanon was a Christian majority country in the 20th century. Do not forget. Do not underestimate how quickly things can change and be almost impossible to change back. So guys, you actually have people, and it happens so quickly, then people just forget about it. There was why can't we have a Christian nation in the Middle East? You had one. Well, you used to have several. Islam conquered them. But even as of the 20th century, you had a Christian majority nation in the Middle East. What happened? Muslims had more babies. That's what happened. And now you don't have a Christian majority nation in the Middle East. And what do you have? What do you have in France, Germany, the UK, Sweden? Check the statistics. Who has the highest birth rates there? Every last country I just named. Who has the highest birth rates by far? Muslims. Guess what? If you have a smaller group, 10% of the population, they're a smaller group, but they have birth rates 3 times higher than the rest of the population. It is a matter of time. It's all mathematics at that point. You are eventually going to be outnumbered. It is a matter of time unless something changes. And we say, well, why not change something? And you go, oh, no, racist. We have to be outnumbered by them. We have to. It's to show how tolerant we are. You giant morons deserve what you get. Well,
Lebanon, and guess who helped the Christians in the civil war in Lebanon? It was Israel that helped them, for which they still get hate today.
That's not true.
Powerful.
How long before American troops have to liberate Europe from the scourge of Islam? 5 years, less?
30 years.
Which Quran translation do you guys use? Mine is so whitewashed, it's pathetic. Love you guys and God bless. I'm sure AP is the same, but I use several translations. Kind of depends. I'll use the Haleli Khan sometimes. Probably the most common ones I use over the years are the Yusuf Ali, just because it's most popular. The MH Shakir. The MH Shakir I've used a lot because he's a little better at English than some of the other translators. The Study Quran I sometimes use. Pickthall is normally pretty accurate, but yeah, kind of depends on what you're looking for. But I would encourage you in general, if you're going to use a Quran verse, look it up in a couple of go to a Quran browser and look it up in a couple of different translations.
Funny. I would say I use Sahih International very often. Abdul Halim. I use whatever. I generally go to what I usually do is I go to this. I look for a Quran verse, for example, and go to Corpus Quran, which is a site that lists five different Quran translations. That's what I go for. I usually just go and look at the text and the Arabic word for word instead of just relying on the translations. But a good translation is generally Sahih International is a good translation. It is a good translation to deliver a mostly correct meaning. MAS Abdul Halim is a good translation for better reading, although it is not as accurate as Sahih International. I usually don't really read the others. Pickthall is good, but it's kind of archaic. It's like if you want to deal with the language. I don't really go for the whole Yusuf Ali, although I'd listen to Shakira sometimes.
On the topic of Antichrist, have you heard a lot of people thinking or making conspiracies that Elon Musk is the Antichrist? What do you guys think? Actually, I was just thinking that last night. I was not thinking that Elon is the Antichrist last night, but I was thinking that he'd be a better example to use than a lot of people that people put forward. This guy, look what this guy did. He's the Antichrist. It's like, guys, are you serious? The Antichrist is going to get a lot more power, a lot more quickly, and be a lot better at duping people around the world.
I nominate Elon Musk to be the Antichrist.
Yeah, but Elon, at least, I mean, here's a guy who's taken over social media. He's, look, everyone, let's just focus on Mars, and I don't know. So, and then he's all of a sudden he's taking over entire government. So, yeah, he'd be a better candidate. Is he the Antichrist? No, but he's a better example than what people normally come up with. Paulo says, AP, great interview on Black Jewish. You need to do more.
Thank you. That was very good. I think I'm going to publish it on my own channel as well.
Yeah, when did you record that? You met her in Israel, right?
Yeah. No. That was in. We were together at Washington D.C.
Oh,
that was when.
Wait, when did you record that video?
That was when we were at the Holocaust Museum. It was the next day or something.
No, I remember you going into a place to record. You were recording with the deputy mayor and then someone else, and then
that was another one. That was when I first met her in Israel, in Tel Aviv. But then this interview was only recently done in DC, so that was quite recent.
Why don't you shamelessly plug that channel and that interview?
I shall do so. I already shared it on my community tab, but what's her channel called?
What is the channel and the name of the video called?
What's the channel called? It's called, so her channel is called The Black and Jewish Podcast with Ashira Solomon. She just published an interview with me, and she didn't even let me know when she published it, but I only shared it yesterday, I think. That's where you can find the video. It's called Episode 20. What does Islam say about Jews and Christians with Apostate Prophet?
So she's black. She's black and Jewish. You should start off the interview by saying, "Why don't you go back to Poland and stay out of Israel?" That'd be funny.
Yes.
Super duper wingling. Ugh. It's only a deal when they say, "Mary, save us." I'd agree if it was asking Mary and so on to pray for us. Much love, regardless.
Powerful.
Yeah, so in your face. Imagine the indignities Hindus had to face as polytheists. Yeah, guys, so keep in mind what this guy's talking about, and how to treat Christians in a church. Christians and Jews officially have it better than Hindus or other groups. Other groups are supposed to be given the option convert or die. There were Muslim rulers in India who decided to give Hindus dhimmi status, even though officially they weren't supposed to, according to Islam. But yeah, just imagine if the people of the book who have an honored status are treated like this in Islam, imagine what people who don't have that status are treated like. So, yeah, pretty horrible stuff.
Pretty horrible.
David, do you and AP believe 1 Corinthians 15, 1 through 4 for salvation? What are you talking about? Going into the resurrection passage? Yes, I believe in the resurrection. According to the dispensation of grace, will, and testament, Jesus Christ, according to... Yeah, we've kind of got a topic here. We're not going through the whole Bible right now. Pope D. Wood the First. Hey, AP, I'm about to go to Israel and was wondering where you and D. Wood got those tattoos. Razooks.
Oh, Razook.
Razooks. Yeah, it's in the old city of Jerusalem. It's in the old city of Jerusalem. It's really close to the what's that gate? It's by the Tower of David or whatever.
Yeah, something gate.
It's by the gate over by the Tower of David. But yeah, just look up Razooks.
It's very famous and very easy to find. Look up Razook.
Yeah, if you just type in tattoo and look at Old City of Jerusalem, it'll pop up.
I think it is near the Jaffa Gate. That's where it is.
Yeah, Jaffa Gate. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. And there's plenty of places around there to grab food and so on. It's not far. It's a couple minute walk from the Church of the Holy Sepulchre and stuff. So it's easy to go. Check out the Tower of David. Go get a dope tattoo. You can even find the exact same one we got and get it from the exact same person we got it from. And so you'll officially be part of the D. Wood and AP Super Posse. And then you can go check out a church, and you can walk over to the Temple Mount, and all kinds of cool stuff to do, man. Super cool place.
Yeah, keep in mind all those who want to, all those who need to know about. So yeah, it's very close to Jaffa Gate. But so all those who need to know about this, if you don't have this tattoo on your body, so if you want to join our army in the future and you don't have this, we ask you if you have the tattoo and you don't have it, you can't join. Yep. So if you want to join, you have to get this tattoo. Just so.
Here we have Sharia for the UK. That's the truth. What about those Christians who say pineapple doesn't belong on pizza? It doesn't. It's a freaking fruit. Ha ha, joking. Good thing you're joking. We don't want to be like the Dawa Wars guys. That's true.
Wait, this was a joke?
Yes. David, you say you told us so, but Catholic and Orthodox have been split for 1,000 years and Catholics and Protestants for 500 years, and rightly so. The gospel is central. No, I don't think you understood the point. AP, how many thousands of shows have we done? When do we hear, hey, like historically you hear, hey, you need to join the Catholic Church, you need to be Protestant. It's rare. We could have a topic and not everything be turned into this. And I spent the past couple of years just recognizing what's going on and reading about it and seeing psychologists talk about this, what the difference between, like it gets broken down into the idea is a lone wolf. I'm not talking about in the terrorist sense. A wolf can live on its own. A wolf on its own lives in one way. A wolf that is in an environment where it's in danger, where it has threats around it, will click up into a pack. And then it starts functioning like a completely different creature when it's in a pack from when it's on its own. And human beings are the same. And so people are pointing out, since people now feel like they're being attacked, how are they going to act differently? And they said it. They said, this is what's going to happen. And all I did was apply it to things that are going on and so all the normal issues. So there are always Catholics who are concerned about Protestants who are concerned about Catholics and stuff, and people, drawing attention to those things. It just gets massively amplified. It becomes an obsession. People behave obsessively because, again, psychologically, they're trying to demonstrate their worth to the group, their value to the group that is now their protection. And so, dude, don't, but we've always had our disagreement. Don't tell me that when I hear about it 1,000 times more than I used to. No, it wasn't. It was not like this 5 years ago. It wasn't. We could have a discussion for 3 hours And no one brings up, well, what about Protestant? What about Catholic? No one brings it up. And now we can't talk about anything without this becoming an issue at all, period. Doesn't matter what we're talking about. There could have been a terrorist attack 5 minutes ago. We could say, breaking news, we got news of a terrorist attack. But what about the Orthodox? It would instantly come up. Don't tell me it doesn't.
I get your point, but wasn't it always like this?
Yes, it was always like this. It was always exactly the same. Nothing has changed.
You see?
To be honest, I was hoping this denomination stuff wouldn't be pushed on AP yet. Let him love Christ first. Yeah.
It isn't being pushed on me. I'm not really affected by it at all.
Yes, you are. You're being humiliated. This is why I'm an ecumenicist. I don't want the unnecessary division. Too late, Gabe. Too late for that. Ecumenicists are going to be marginalized and crushed and humiliated after the mighty stampede of the super-based.
You have already participated in the division by just saying that, Gabe. So.
Yeah, you're going to have to form your own group, or you're not going to have any protection. While still recognize our differences, I feel that it's a good middle ground. That said, D-Wood, you're completely correct about the divisive programming. Yeah, don't worry, Gabe. You'll fall for it soon enough.
Powerful.
Protestant, Catholic, Orthodox, we are all brothers and sisters in Christ. No, because there's only one true church. God bless you. By the way, the debate on did Muhammad exist was hilarious.
How dare you? It wasn't hilarious. It was funny. See, he's coughing again. Unprofessional show, man. Who coughs on live TV?
Yeah, I thought it was better I didn't think I was completely better, but I thought it was better than yesterday. It turns out I'm worse than yesterday. I think it's how God intended. Catholics keep Protestants from liberalizing and Protestants keep Catholics from idolatry. The slander is unnecessary, though. How dare you? Why do Muslims target women more for conversion?
Because
they want to marry them and take over. It's called taking over the reproductive capabilities of the enemy. If they're obsessed with just long-term outnumbering you, guess what? Getting some women to convert and then making babies for you, you've just taken away the reproductive capabilities of the enemy and used them for your own advantage.
Powerful.
The Cybertruck is a huge troll. It's Elon saying, let's make the ugliest truck and the fools will buy it anyway. You'll see it worked, but good on him for shedding light on Bislam. Yeah, that truck is definitely ugly. AP, super happy to watch your journey, man. Don't believe any group inherently goes to hell. That limits the power of God. Do what's right wherever you are. Screw the group. Lol, got my beef dog tags this week.
Nice. That's pretty much what I'm doing. I am not listening to anybody except just learning from peeps and all that. And I don't know. I think I'm coming from a perspective where the whole idea that one community is right and all the others are wrong is kind of an absurd thing to me to begin with. And I know that some people want to push this idea from all sides. Again, ironically, it just it doesn't really click very well, and I don't really see it I don't look favorably on it. That's where I am.
Because you're a weakling. People are being locked up for their opinions. Many have had enough. A lot are taking matters into their own hands, and escalation looms. Leaders and police started to step in because of counter-violence. Not looking great. Ultimately, ecumenism should be strived for, though it is unlikely. It gladdens me to see people like AP already recognizing how unneeded these interdenominational criticisms are. Love your work.
It's kind of funny right now. I see lots of traditionalist people within the traditional churches be kind of angry at the ecumenism that the patriarchate, the Orthodox patriarchate, and the Catholic Church strive for right now. And they're like, why is ecumenism not good? It's not good. They're not correct, and so on. That's people are very strange. Like, I would love to see Christians come together again and stop with the brutal schism. Yeah. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, the reason I was warning guys for the past couple of years now, to the point where every time I say it, I'm like, gosh, am I saying it too much? And then it still happens anyway. is because it's just a fact. If people are under massive pressure, which causes them to divide up into cliques and to attack all other groups for their own protection, any group that can actually avoid the tendency to divide up will have a massive advantage for their own good in that situation. If everyone else is dividing up into smaller and smaller and more hostile cliques, and you don't do, and your group is the one that doesn't do that, well, guess what? The entire world divides up into these little tiny angry cliques, and you're the one that doesn't. You have a massive advantage. But if you do the exact same thing, you don't have that massive advantage. So it's up to you guys. It's up to you. I don't make the rules. Thoughts on Hinduism, Sikhism, Mono, Buddhism? No tremendous thoughts. Don't believe in any of them.
Tremendous job. Tremendous.
Should Europe take, South African refugees or reject them? Don't know. Not my call.
What refugees? SA refugees?
I don't know. Is that South African? Because SA could be Saudi Arabia and South Africa. I'm guessing because South African refugees has come up recently because of people attacking the farmers and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
That's up to European nations. I don't have any problem with nations taking in refugees. I have a problem with nations taking in refugees who ultimately want to destroy those nations. That's insane and stupid. If a nation can take in some refugees without any threat to the nation, I have zero problem with that. It's people being stupid about it. That's the problem. Are you guys what is this? Are you guys Calvinists? No. I've been doing research, and I think the church got theologically corrupted after Constantine and Augustine. Agree or no? How in the... Oh, my goodness. Pineapple doesn't belong on pizza because it's a fruit. Wait until he finds out where the sauce comes from. I don't care what anyone says. Tomatoes do not count as a fruit. It's completely different. Elon and Donald are both good AC candidates. Elon and Donald are both good Antichrist candidates. No, Donald is not. He's too old. It's like at least Elon's young and he's got some time and so on. So no, Trump is not. Matter of fact, Trump is what I said. Like, is one of the terrible examples of like every couple years, there's the Antichrist. So people were saying it about Obama, they're saying it about Trump and all this stuff. It's like none of these guys are remotely in the ballpark. As I'm saying, Elon, again, guys, to be clear, if you're just tuning in, Elon is not the Antichrist. If you're obsessed with saying, here's the guy that could be the Antichrist, okay, Elon is a much, much, much better candidate than people usually go with. Because he's getting massive power, even power to call elections and things like that. Space program, richest guy in the world, all this stuff, and controlling a lot of speech right now. He's getting more and more. His power is growing at an exponential rate.
Christ.
Not peace, but a sword. Matthew 10, Jesus far different than Moses, though. Irony, Christian denomination divisions lead to secularism that forgot to keep Islam out. Not peace, but a sword. I want to make a video about that because what's her name? Lily used that. She said, "Oh, but Jesus said I came not to bring peace, but a sword." Well, how come the media says that Islam spread by the sword and Christianity didn't? What? How's that work? Yeah, she says, "Oh, look, the Bible used the word sword." Yeah, I'll give you a matter of fact. In one verse, Jesus said sword 3 times. Put your sword back into its place. For anyone who lives by the sword dies by the sword. Look at that. She said sword 3 times. So how can they say Christianity didn't spread by the sword? What an idiot. Yeah, guys, read Matthew 10. Christians are on the receiving end of the sword. That's the sword, guys. Christians are on the receiving end. People thought, hey, Jesus the Messiah, he's going to kill all our enemies and bring us peace. Jesus says, that's not what I'm doing. You're going to be persecuted. Catholics don't think God's in a cross. It's a symbol. I'll have to remember that if I'm ever on Jeopardy.
Who suggests such things anyway? It's like people are taking some things very, very literally. Somebody earlier said the whole comment about saying Mary save us. Like nobody believes that Mary actually has the power to literally save people.
Some
like
do.
These are just invocations to like for intercession, for example, to ask Mary to intercede for them or things
Stop
like
defending.
that. These are not idolatrous practices.
Mary can't save you.
People need to People need to stop fighting over these.
Mary can't save you, I said. Peace be upon me says, hey, D-Wood AP, where did you get your cross necklace? We each have a cross. Who are you asking? Because you said D-Wood and AP, and then you said cross necklaces as you're talking about one of them.
I just ordered this from Etsy. That's it.
Yeah, mine I saw in a Christian book distributor's catalog when I was in prison. By the time I tried to order one, they had stopped making them. Then when I got out, I looked all over, could not find it. They had stopped making them. I found one in a Christian bookstore that had a little selection of crosses. So I grabbed it and I found the cross that I wanted. It's called a samurai cross because the end of the cross is shaped like a samurai sword blade. But then me and Nabil had a friend named Daniel who converted to Christianity from Odinism. He was a big 6'5" Norwegian looking dude. Anyway, he was into Odinism, so he became a Christian. And I said, hey, let's find you a cross. And he says, I just like yours. Let me get one like that. And I was like, well, they don't make these anymore, but you can have mine.
They don't make them like that no more.
So I gave him mine. And then, so I didn't have my cross for a while. And then me and Nabil were out in California and we were at a Calvary Chapel church and they also had a bookstore. And I found a dusty one in their jewelry case as well. So I found the same exact cross. So it keeps coming back to me, ladies and gentlemen, keeps coming back to me.
Powerful.
I'm Protestant. I'll join AP's pack when he chooses. You got a Protestant, he's just going to join whatever you decide on.
Based.
It is a wonderful thing to survive a life-threatening accident. Yes, glad to be alive and able to continue to offer support. Praise be to God who supports and protects his servants. Yes, that is awesome. That's good news. I actually blocked a guy I used to respect because he was becoming too militantly Catholic. Seriously, Christian theology and apologetics, get used to that. Everyone is going to become more militant. And I'll say it now. Protestants are at a disadvantage in that one. Just because it's a looser confederation. In other words, it will come more naturally to Catholics.
Luther. It's pronounced Luther, not loser. Luther.
You see, this is what happens when you let these foreigners into your live streams.
Powerful.
Is Christianity seen as more submissive and Islam more dominant?
Yes.
Yes. Also, pro tip, angle grinders and hair don't mix. Ooh, yeah, that would be bad. Your hair gets caught on one of those. Would you have a Last Week in Shia show with Armin?
Yes.
Last Week in Shia?
Yes.
Make a vid
just the thing. We just basically said yes and went over that super chat that just came in about Christianity seen as submissive and Islam seen as dominant.
Talking about how it's seen, yes. Lots of people see Islam as dominant, and
it's kind of a messed up thing to just say yes and move on. But I posted about this as well, and people were like, "What are we talking about?" But lots of people agreed. There is this aspect of Christianity or of Christians that kind of makes them seem a little bit subservient, and all that, and it is a bad trend, because to my understanding, Christianity isn't meant to be subservient. Christians aren't meant to be submissive and subservient. It is just something that is adopted over time among some communities. But David, correct me if I'm wrong, but just because Christianity teaches an amount of personal humility and non-violence and all that, it doesn't mean that Christianity teaches to be submissive and subservient. Right.
Yeah, correct. You are still, you're supposed to, loving others in the West in recent decades became like this warm, fuzzy feeling that you're just supposed to have towards everyone, and not like seeking the good of other people. You can love your enemies and not let them subjugate you and walk all over you. In fact, if you believe that they're actually doing something bad, you should be stopping them. And you should be protecting other things that you're supposed to love. Your families, your neighbors, your country, and so on. You're supposed to love all these things and be protecting them.
Christianity's best times were when Christians were brutally defending themselves against invaders and also fighting them brutally back, in my opinion.
Well, you're gonna get back to that. Not even by choice.
Inshallah.
Soldiers split his clothes. Leaders split his church.
Good point.
Why aren't you guys Latvian Orthodox yet? I think that was an episode. I think that was an episode of Seinfeld where George Costanza was converting to Latvian Orthodox because he had the hots for this chick. AP, Jesus doesn't care about your religion. He cares about you.
Powerful.
The Antichrist is anyone that disagrees with me. Good point.
That's a good point.
I agree. It is sad to see Christianity remaining split and strange conspiracy theories put on each other. I'm Protestant, but the weird stuff people claim about Orthodoxy is just like claiming Jews sacrifice babies. Prove that they don't do that, Candace Owens. You need to watch Candace Owens. Elon is too much of a nerd. Elon is too much of a nerd to be Antichrist.
That's true.
He's building his own army of babies by impregnating women. South Africa, most of them are from German Dutch origin. Germany, in order to atone for the Holocaust, is now importing people whose holy books say to kill the Jews and fight all those who do not believe until all is for Allah. Yeah, I know. It's ironic, isn't it? We have to atone for the Holocaust. By doing what? By getting people who hate Jews even more than the Nazis did.
I actually recorded a very brief video about that when I was in Germany. Maybe I should just publish that tonight. I actually went to the Holocaust Memorial and briefly talked about this on camera.
Don't be scared.
How this is like a very stupid thing to do. Maybe I should just publish it.
Yeah, quit being scared. Elon, Antichrist, let's see how Neuralink and Elon bots pan out. Oh, yeah, and he does other stuff like Neuralink. And eventually it will be, you have to bow and worship Elon to get the Neuralink, and without the Neuralink, you cannot buy food. I have a silly tinfoil hat theory for the Antichrist. I have always thought the Antichrist should rise from the Spanish crown. They technically have the monarchy of Jerusalem and Constantinople. Unlikely, but fun. Maybe fun, but unrealistic. When is anything going to happen from the Spanish crown? Nothing.
Soon.
Antichrist is going to work with Islam, false prophet. Can Candace Owens be the Antichrist? She has the ego. She is a Christian, and that does not follow anything Jesus-like. In many cases, she's the opposite. She has billions of followers that worship her. No, that's another example of choosing some loser who definitely cannot be the Antichrist. Again, Elon's the only one. Elon's the only one that you could say right now, point to, and actually has some of the relevant characteristics. I think Islam thinks Christians are pushovers because we come across as always nicey, which is good, but there's a limit that'll be reached again. Oh, yeah. No, it's coming. It's inevitable. It's basically on the level of physics. Hey, David, started watching your vids about a year ago and just wanted to say thank you for your testimony about your faith. It taught me something about Christianity and the definition of what love actually is. That's what I do. I teach people about love. Ephesians 6:12, Christians are meant to fight evil. Yes, we are. Hi, David. I've read how you met your wife. How did you know you were in love? A close atheistic female friend showed an openness to Christianity. How do I witness to her and not be led astray by feelings? Well, you could be more of a psychopath and not have those feelings. As far as my wife, I don't know. I just had all the things that I like. I just have all the things that I like about a woman, and then I met her, and the only thing that wasn't good was she was an agnostic. So I say, okay, I will do some apologetics here, and if she converts, then I will take that as a sign as, hey, now everything's good. And 2 weeks later, she was a Christian. So, and 2 months after meeting her, I proposed. But yes, you do need to be concerned about feelings taking over your mind. And I say that just because, AP, how many times have we heard the story of, oh, but this Muslim I met is so cute and dreamy, and he says he's going to treat me right, and he doesn't even care if he says I can be a Christian and be married, and he. 3 years later, oh my goodness, why didn't you guys tell me how bad this is going to be? As soon as we had a kid, he says now I have to convert to Islam, and now I can't get out. Now he says he's going to keep my kids because now we live in Saudi Arabia. And
Many
I've
such
heard that
cases.
hundreds of times.
Many
And
such
every time,
cases.
and guys, I get messages. Oh my goodness, my sister is in love with a Muslim guy, and blah blah blah. What am I going to do? I'm trying to talk her out. I'm trying to convince her. She won't listen to anything. And all I think is,
Many such cases.
all my experience tells me that you just need to be sharing with her how to get out of it, once she eventually realizes, and that right now she's not going to listen, just because every single time this happens, they never listen, ever. Why? Because their hormones are taking over. Yep, got to watch out for that stuff. D1 and AP, thanks for the laughs tonight. Needed it. Everyone needs the laughs. I once ended up on some crazy guy's website who claimed to have proof that the Antichrist is Jared Leto. Hey! So there you go, case closed. No, there was a guy at DebateCon who goes around trying to convince people that Jared Leto is the Antichrist, and it's perfectly clear to him. And so, yeah, that's actually a thing. God bless you both. Did you see the Congo president is willing to make a mineral deal with the United States to help with the Rwanda invasion?
I don't know nothing about this.
Nope, I know nothing about that. It is always interesting the United States willing to help out all these people with their stuff just for handing over all their mineral rights and so on. That's what he's trying to do with Ukraine right now. All right, guys. So
Yeah, I heard one theory which is very believable, which is that the internet is actually the Antichrist. What do you think about this theory?
yeah, why not come up with something creative like AI, like Grok,
Yeah, Grok is the Antichrist.
Chat GPT, Grok. Those are the Antichrist.
Hey, don't diss ChatGPT, okay? I use ChatGPT a lot.
All right, guys. So we had a ton of super chats. I wanted to get through them, but we've gone through some tweets from Elon. We went through a couple of videos, and now we want to look at the Pact of Umar, because we did get the request yesterday for something on the Pact of Umar. And this is actually connected to that video that guy was talking about, when he's talking about how to treat non-Muslims in an Islamic state. That comes directly from the Pact of Umar. Lots of Muslims believe that this is a pact that of the second of the rightly guided caliphs, Umar. I've seen more scholars be of the opinion, I'm talking about non-Muslim scholars, be of the opinion that this is from a later Umar, not the original. But it actually shows what the conditions were for Christians under Islamic rule. So here you have it, everyone. This is Ibn Kathir's commentary on Surah 9, verse 29. Surah 9, verse 29, fight those who do not believe in Allah, and goes on to say, until they pay the jizya, Christians and Jews, until they pay the jizya with willing submission and feel themselves subdued. So let's go and read this passage, because as part of this, he gives the Pact of Umar. So this is Ibn Kathir's commentary. Paying jizya is a sign of kufr and disgrace. Allah said, until they pay the jizya. So what you see in parentheses, that's the Quran, and then what's outside of the parentheses is his commentary. Until they pay the jizya, if they do not choose to embrace Islam, with willing submission, in defeat and subservience, and feel themselves subdued. What does the Quran mean when it says, feel ourselves subdued? It means disgraced, humiliated. You wonder why you always have hijab. It's humiliated. You've been humiliated. It's part of the goal of Islam that we all be humiliated and belittled. Therefore, Muslims are not allowed to honor the people of Dhimma. These are second-class Jewish and Christian citizens who are allowed to continue remaining as Jews and Christians if we accept dhimmi status, meaning we're second-class citizens. Muslims are not allowed to honor the people of Dhimma or elevate them above Muslims, for they are miserable, disgraced, and humiliated. Remember what the guy in the video was saying? Yes, they have to wear different colored shoes and this and that. We have to humiliate them. Like all of their behavior is meant to show that we are humiliated. Muslim recorded from Abu Hurairah that the Prophet said, do not initiate the salam to the Jews and Christians, and if you meet any of them in a road, force them to its narrowest alley. The guy actually quoted that. The guy actually cited that as an example. This is why the leader of the faithful, Umar bin al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, demanded his well-known conditions be met by the Christians. These conditions that ensured their continued humiliation, degradation, and disgrace. The scholars of Hadith narrated from Abdurrahman bin Gun, blah, 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 that he said, I recorded for Umar bin al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, the terms of the treaty of peace he conducted with the Christians of Asham. And here are the conditions. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, this is a document to the servant of Allah, Umar, the leader of the faithful, from the Christians of such and such city. When you Muslims came to us, we requested safety for ourselves. So you've got the invaders coming. We're going to violently subjugate you. You are allowed to offer conditions of safety. What's this mean? It means, hey, we accept dhimmi status. No need to fight and kill us. We accept. When you Muslims came to us, we requested safety for ourselves, children, property, and followers of our religion. We made a condition on ourselves that we will neither erect in our areas a monastery, church, or a sanctuary for a monk, nor restore any place of worship that needs restoration, nor use any of them for the purpose of enmity against Muslims. So you can't build a church or a sanctuary or anything else. And if your church is damaged, let's suppose a roof will eventually need to be fixed or repaired or something like that, you're not allowed to do it. So the idea is that your places are constantly going to be deteriorating, like your religion under Islamic rule. And as you see your church building full of holes and so on that you're not allowed to repair, it's to be a constant reminder of the status of your religion under Islam and what an inferior status you have. We will not prevent any Muslim from resting in our churches. Remember what the guy said? The Muslim doesn't feel like his belly's full of kebab. He doesn't feel like going home and waking his wife and so on. So he could just go over to the nearest church and say, hey, let me in, John. We will not prevent any Muslim. Christians are required to say, we will not prevent any Muslim from resting in our churches, whether they come by day or night, and we will open the doors of our houses of worship for the wayfarer and passerby. Those Muslims who come as guests will enjoy boarding and food for 3 days.
Beast.
We will not allow a spy against Muslims into our churches and homes or hide deceit or betrayal against Muslims. We will not teach our children the Quran. Isn't that interesting? See that right there in the middle? We will not teach our children the Quran. Isn't that interesting? You would think, Christians would want people teaching the Bible. Why wouldn't Muslims want Christians teaching the Quran? Because the Quran is a manual for subjugating the world. You actually don't want people learning the game plan. You don't want people learning the playbook, right? It's like if you had two opposing NFL teams and so on. You don't want the other team learning your playbook and sharing your playbook, right? So you don't want people. If they convert, now you can learn the Quran. Now you can learn the plan. But until then, do not learn the plan. We will not teach our children the Quran, publicize practices of shirk, so saying Jesus is Lord, invite anyone to shirk. You're not allowed to invite people to become Christians, or prevent any of our fellows from embracing Islam if they choose to do so. So think about that. You cannot invite Muslims to convert to Christianity, but you cannot oppose a Christian from embracing Islam.
Powerful.
Got that?
Very
It's a
pleased.
one-way street. If they choose to do so, we will respect Muslims, move from the places we sit in if they choose to sit in them. So, nice seat on a bus, Muslim walks in, got to get up, got to stand up, let the Muslim sit down. We will not imitate their clothing, caps, turbans, sandals, hairstyles, speech, nicknames, and title names, or ride on saddles, hang swords on the shoulders, collect weapons of any kind, or carry these weapons. We will not encrypt our stamps in Arabic or sell liquor. We will have the front of our hair cut. Remember the guy was saying that? Shave the front of your heads. We'll have the front of our hair cut, wear our customary clothes wherever we are, wear belts around our waist, refrain from erecting crosses on the outside of our churches and demonstrating them and our books in public in Muslim fairways and markets. We will not sound the bells in our churches except discreetly, or raise our voices while reciting our holy books inside our churches in the presence of Muslims, nor raise our voices with prayer at our funerals or light torches in funeral processions in the fairways of Muslims or their markets. We will not bury our dead next to Muslim dead or by servants who were captured by Muslims. We will be guides. We will be guides for Muslims and refrain from breaching their privacy in their homes. When I gave this document to Umar, he added to it, we will not beat any Muslim. These are the conditions that we set against ourselves and followers of our religion in return for safety and protection. If we break any of these promises that we set for your benefit against ourselves, this is for the benefit of Muslims. If we break any of these promises that we set for your benefit against ourselves, then our dhimma, promise of protection, is broken, and you are allowed to do with us what you're allowed of people of defiance and rebellion. AP, what are Muslims allowed to do with? What are Muslims allowed to do with people of defiance and rebellion, according to, let's say, Surah 5, verse 33?
Well, you can kill them, crucify them, hang them, cut off their hands and feet from opposite sides, expel them, just brutally punish them. And of course, you can always take their wives and children as slaves. Of course, that goes without saying. Yeah.
And so, guys, this goes back to early stages of Islam as far as subjugating unbelievers, making and humiliating them. That's straight out of the Quran. That's how Muhammad treated. That's how Muhammad treated. Muhammad made dhimmis of the Jews of Khaybar, made them pay 50% of their annual crop in order to not be wiped out. And then after Muhammad died, Umar then just went ahead and kicked them out of the Arabian Peninsula altogether and so on, took over their land. But you just saw, here's the thing. This is the Pact of Umar. It's loaded with the conditions that Jews and Christians had to be under if they wanted to remain Jews and Christians and not be killed. They had to accept these terms. And you go through these terms and you think, oh, well, that's messed up. And what do you have? In the UK, you've got Muslims saying, yes, we can't wait to have this. Yes, they're going to fall for this. This is how stupid they are. And we've also seen you've got leaders in the UAE guys going, guys, you don't know what you're up against. You're trying to be politically correct. You don't know what these guys want. And it's all like an idiot could figure this out. The dumbest person in the world could understand this. You could be the dumbest, most inbred person in the world, and you could completely understand what's going on here. And all our leaders combined are like, what? It's one of life's great mysteries. We don't know what's happening. We don't know what's going on. What? Why do these guys keep trying to subjugate us? We can't understand. We can't understand. It's so confusing. It's confusing if you've been conditioned to view any criticism of any of this as the product of racism. That's it. That's the only way it can be confusing you. Wild stuff, guys. And so here's the thing:
is that it's, are you suggesting that it's wrong for Muslims to impose Sharia law upon people and to subjugate them and impose these laws on them? And what's your argument? Why would you could suggest that that is wrong, considering that Muslims are right and Islam is true?
Here's the thing: you would normally say it's wrong to subjugate people and treat them like this. But I have to say, if you have an entire culture that's going, please subjugate us. We feel so bad about things we did centuries ago that the only thing we can do to make ourselves feel better is to be completely humiliated and subjugated. Please come and humiliate and subjugate us. Like, is it bad then? They're basically announcing, no, we have to be subjugated or else we can't, we feel so terrible. We feel so terrible. Please subjugate us. Then we can feel better. Okay, that's the only way you can feel better is to be completely humiliated and subjugated by a bunch of morons following an illiterate caravan robber. Okay, that's on you then. That's on you. All right, let's take these remaining super chats and we'll let everyone get back to submitting to Islam.
Inshallah.
AP, watch you on Irfan's channel. Great German talk.
Thank you. I was actually kind of surprised with my German. Like I haven't continuously spoken German for the longest time in my life. And I was kind of worried going to Germany and speaking German with everyone day and night, going on interviews and all that. But then I was actually very surprised by how fluently and wonderfully I speak German. I was like, what the heck? How did that happen?
Well, you're sure patting yourself on the back for this quite a bit. No, people don't realize how you could become rusty in a language. I told you once before, I had a German professor who had lived in Germany for like 45 years before coming to the U.S. as a German professor. And he'd been here for like 12 years, but we had an actual German student in class once. And she was going like, he's getting like all kinds of things wrong when he's talking. Like the endings of the words and stuff like that. He's getting the cases wrong and stuff like that. It's like, gosh, this is a guy who is a professor of German and just living in the U.S. for 12 years or whatever, started having problems. And AP just knew German from when he was a little kid. Other than that, he's always spoken Turkish. Mary was the okayest mother of God. If you add any humans to the treasury of merit aside from Christ, who has a dual nature, you're in an irredeemable deficit. AP it is a journey, not a destination.
Thank you.
I like Armin, but not like Diha Al-Kalbi liked Momo. Yeah, that's good. Garcenda, Countess of Forquer is an interesting bloodline. I don't know about that. But we got President Camacho, so that's good. Keep your eyes on Ramadan unalivings in... Yeah, that's the rough part. One, Ramadan's a very fun month because we get to make fun of a lot of stuff. I think my first video is going to be how I'm actually joining Muslims in fasting for Ramadan this year because we don't have a night nurse, so I stay up every night with my son. But here's the thing. So I stay up every night with my son, so I sleep during the day. So the last time I eat is about 5 a.m. That's my last meal of the day is about 5 a.m. Still dark out. Then I sleep all day. Then my first I eat breakfast in the evening. Well, what's that mean? I'm Ramadan fasting. I'm not eating at all during daylight hours right now, just as normal life. So I'm going to make a video about how I'm Ramadan fasting and point out that it's just normal life for me. But it's weird because I don't consider it fasting because I eat normally. It's just not during the day, which means I'm Ramadan fasting. It's so hard. Please, everyone, please praise me for Ramadan fasting. Please praise me. It's so hard, Ramadan fasting, which I do every single day of my life now. Wild stuff. Please consider a Monday show with Armin, if possible, called Last Week in Shia News, and in it have a 10 to 15-minute segment on Shia Dawas. You guys are fun. Yeah, I don't know enough about Shia Dawa. I'm sure Armin does because he focuses on Iran, which is Shia.
Shir Dawa. I know about Shir Dawa, but not about Shia Dawa.
Oh, yeah. As far as a Monday show, I'm actually on tomorrow. I invited Testify because I saw one of his videos and it was funny.
Oh,
and, yeah.
nice.
He said that. And then IP sent him my email and he says, yes, I can come on. And I was like, and this was last week. He's like, you got to pick a day. And I was like, I don't know, Monday. He said, yes, Monday.
Too.
So AP, I'm going to be on with Testify tomorrow going through some of his videos. You can jump in, or if you're busy, you can not jump in because I will.
Nice. I really like Testify's videos and channel. Very, very nice. Very fun. Very good. Very, very good stuff. And also very good with the visual and all that.
Yeah.
I'll just watch.
Yeah, he's got some funny stuff. Diha gave jizya to Momo a lot. Yes, that's a good one. This explains why people like hijab focus on humiliating others and are just interested in jostling for power position. One map up in conversation. I wonder, psychologically speaking, if he is carrying wounds of his forefathers who were humiliated into singing Shahada. Yeah. Yeah, no, but that's serious. That's why I thought you've been humiliated. It's all power to them. And you saw it from this guy. The video we watched of that guy talking about how to get people to convert to Islam. There wasn't one word in there about how to know that Islam is true. It's just Islam focuses on getting in a position of power and then using that power to humiliate you until you get sick of being humiliated. And then you see the Dawa guys, they're giving up on any sort of actual rational argumentation to prove their points. Now it's just showing that they're strong and stuff, and it's looking pathetic. But there are morons in the world who are impressed by that. I don't even grow a unibrow, let alone hair on my forehead. Now what? I'm goofed. Muslims can make one laugh.
Powerful.
Yeah, that might not work against you. Anyone ever go through AP's old live streams to find the origin story on his and D Wood's friendship?
No, I never went through that.
No, we've talked about it before. He messaged me and said, "Hey, I'm a new YouTuber. I would like to interview you."
And David was like, new YouTuber. Interesting.
This was around the time when we were doing Islamicize Me. Oh, by the way, I was thinking of, since I have a Rumble channel, I was thinking of re-releasing all of Islamicize Me for Ramadan on Rumble.
That'd be funny.
See how they do. Keeping it up. I think I might do that. Might be fun. Why do some Muslims choose to leave Islam and others don't? Well, people are different, and people are in different situations, and people have different amounts of imagination and
well, it's what happens is that if you're a real man, you end up leaving Islam, and if you're not a real man, then you just stay inside Islam. That's just what happens.
That's the truth.
Real men leave Islam. That's merch.
You should totally make that. Real men leave Islam. Did you guys know Pope John Paul II kissed the Quran and asked St. John the Baptist to protect Islam? And Pope Francis said Islam is a path to God. Lord bless. I heard about him kissing the Quran, but asking St. John the Baptist to protect Islam would be weird.
I know about I know about Pope John Paul II kissing the Quran. I haven't heard of him asking John the Baptist to protect Islam. I have to look into that. What Pope Francis would have said that that it is a path to get closer, as we just looked at the Catechism, for example, yesterday, but that they eventually would have to become Christians or accept Jesus in order to enter the kingdom of God. I'm pretty sure that the Pope never contradicted that aspect. So I'm pretty sure that he didn't qualify them for a heaven in the afterlife or anything like that. But John the Baptist to protect Islam, is it really? Huh.
That would be wild. Edward Nigma says, I said thank you to my DoorDash guy. He then asked me to take a Shahada. Conversions over knowledge in Islam, and they're proud of that.
Beast.
Yeah. They're obsessed with getting the conversion and not really caring about any knowledge of Islam. Why the New Testament without the Tetragrammaton? Well, because it's written for people in Greek, and they wouldn't have had any clue what that is. And Jews themselves didn't like using the Tetragrammaton, right? They didn't like using the name of God. So even Jews started referring to, they would quote passages where God is called Yahweh, and they would just replace that with Lord. So even Jews were doing that. They would say Adonai instead. Even when they recite the Shema, they would say Adonai Eloheinu and so on. They changed it over time because they were worried about even not having a brief thought that is not completely focused on God while naming that name, you're in pretty terrible danger. And so better to not use the word. So by the time you get to the New Testament, one, they wouldn't have been familiar with the name. But two, people during that time wouldn't have been very comfortable using the name, and especially spreading it to new people who might not have the proper reverence and so on.
David, can I share my screen here for a second?
Yeah. Let me see. You got to put it somewhere where I can find it. I don't see it, man. Oh, no. You got to log out and come back on. You shared it with if you're sharing it with audio or something like that, you get a robot voice. We know there's a problem.
Here.
Nope, you got to sign out. You got to sign out and come back in. See what you did?
No.
You have a robot voice. You're going to have a robot voice until you just sign out and sign back in real quick. I'm going to take a couple things. There's a way to troubleshoot that. I just haven't done it yet because I don't like troubleshooting stuff. Let's see. I hope. Hey, and here we have the Apostate Prophet. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, what's up? I'm a little bit
Hey, you want to
late,
try and
sorry.
share that? Is there a way to share it without audio or something like that? Or
Yeah, I could have done that. I can try it again.
Try it again, see what happens.
Okay, let's see.
I was just telling him there's a way to troubleshoot that. I just haven't looked it up and gone through it yet because it says I have to I have to change audio settings. Go ahead and talk.
Hello.
Okay, it worked this time. All right.
Hello.
Now we're good.
So, yeah, I would like Catholics to help me out with this because I just look up the source for what this is, and I'm kind of shocked a little bit. So this is a message by Pope John Paul II, visit to Wadi al-Kharar, where he talks about, I have to read the whole letter through, glory to you, Father, and so on. But the thing is, the relevant quote is actually here. So special greetings to His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed. I will keep all the people of Jordan, Christians and Muslims in my prayers, especially the sick and the elderly. With gratitude, I invoke abundant blessings upon His Highness the King and upon the whole nation. God bless you all. God bless Jordan. May Saint John Baptist protect Islam.
What the heck?
And all the people of Jordan. And all who participated in the celebration. A memorable celebration. I'm very grateful to all of you. Thank you very much.
What?
Protect Islam.
Protect Islam. What?
What the heck?
You done with this dumb thing?
Yes.
Good, because I want it off my screen. That's your hero, AP? Not very based.
This was not Pope Francis, one of us. This was Pope John Paul II.
And he was the tougher of the two. Weird stuff. Sketch Therapy says, I hope I don't sound pushy just trying to help and donate. Well, quit sounding so pushy then. Mo is Dia's home, but only the back door is open. What the heck is wrong with AP's fans over here? AP, ich stimme auch zu. Echt gutes Deutsch gesprochen. Wollen ein tolles Gespräch. Buchempfehlung. Allah versus Abba. Hey, that's a good title.
Apparently it already exists. What is that?
Author Stefan Ulrich. Allah versus Abba. That's a good... Yeah, guys. Abba is Aramaic for father. And so you refer to God as Father. But Allah is a father to no one. So it is a good title to say Allah versus Abba, which is Father.
Interesting. I'll check that out. I'll check it out.
Did you see that the book exists?
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. No comment. D Wood, I couldn't find your cross online. Just ordered AP cross from Etsy. I told you you're not going to find it. It doesn't exist anymore. This is the last one on the planet. Muslim will start attacking Elon Musk when he criticized them. That's what they do. They've already started. I mean, Hijab declared war and then started making up this nonsense about Elon has contacted me through an associate, warning that they will frame me for a crime if I do not stop criticizing him with my base dawah. It's like totally insane and idiotic. Elon's never heard of him. Vadi Bachman is a solid Bible teaching preacher, complete opposite of Halun gritting Joel Osteen. God bless you both. If you check Catechism 841, it speaks on Muslims believing in the same creator, but further reading qualifies the required belief that leads to Christ and rejecting false beliefs from any religion. We went through this yesterday, literally. Not very Deus Vult of him. That's true. And Islam was the name of his laundry servant. That's good. That's good.
For a second there, I actually thought maybe Islam is the name of somebody here, but probably not.
All right, AP, anything else? Did want people to be aware of Elon's journey of learning about Islam, and it's just funny because anytime he criticizes Islam, he gets blasted. He gets blasted by Dawa clowns and so on, and keyboard jihadis trying to silence him and stuff. And that's fun to watch because that's not going to work with him. But they have no plan B. And so these are going to be interesting times, ladies and gentlemen. So anytime you be sure you're paying attention to what Elon is sharing. And if he's sharing some important information about Islam, like we've just seen, you definitely want to be sharing that too. We want everyone to learn more about Islam right now, because if people don't, they are really, really doomed, because we just saw what's coming after you. We saw it. We saw that that's been the game plan since the beginning of Islam. It's been the game plan of how to treat you and how to get power over you. And you see Western leaders too dumb to figure it out, even though it's right there in their books, even though Muslims are announcing it in their mosques, and Western leaders are still too stupid to figure it out. So that means we have to figure it out. You're in the perfect time in history to be able to figure things out and share the information. They can't stop you now. They can't stop you now. So use this time, because you're kind of doomed if you don't. Any final thoughts, AP? Are you still focused on that John the Baptist thing?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about that right now. Anyway, yeah, but no final thoughts. I think that people should. I think that we're doing good stuff to wake people up, but apparently we're having it's a very tough job, and we just need to do more and more and more and more and more and more to wake up not only the average people, the lay people, but also those in charge, including religious leaders.
And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you look at the trend, you look at the trajectory. Go back 20 years. That's when the statistics were coming out about the birth rates in Islam, about the birth rates of other groups in the West. And people were just doing the math, and they were able to say, based on the math, this is when Paris becomes a Muslim majority nation. This is when Paris becomes a Muslim majority city. This is when France becomes a Muslim majority nation. This is when Germany becomes a Muslim majority nation. This is when the UK becomes a Muslim majority nation. It was all just math. And you're looking at that, and all the leaders are hell-bent on making it happen as fast as possible. They want to accelerate the process. And right when all that horrible news comes out about how you are absolutely 100% doomed, it's inevitable, it's straightforward physics at this point. Just when you found out how doomed you are, all of a sudden, you got open access to Muslims around the world, which you hadn't had for 14 centuries. 14 centuries, you did not have open access to Muslims. If you wanted to talk to Muslims in Saudi Arabia or something like that, you were going to get your head chopped off. You wanted to go tell them they're wrong. Now, because of the internet, you all have the ability to talk to Muslims in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, Saudi Arabia, wherever right now. And simultaneously with that, for 14 centuries, you did not have access to Muslim sources to expose their lies of the Dawah clowns. Didn't have access to their sources to use them against them. Now, all of a sudden, in our lifetimes, we all got open access. So now Muslim leaders cannot protect their people. They can't insulate them from hearing criticisms. And all the information we need to destroy all their claims has been handed over to us. And even though our leaders are still hell-bent on destroying us, right now is when people gained the ability to go around their government, to go around their media, and to do it themselves. In other words, I'm looking at this from the perspective of providence. It looks to me as if the Almighty has said, yes, look at the math, look at your leaders, look at your journalists. Everything says you are doomed. But I am giving you everything you need right now to change it. And so if you do, it's all handed to you. It's right there in front of you. If you don't, that's kind of on you, because God gave us a way out. It's my thoughts. Wait, what? I'm sorry I'm late. Can you brief me on what's happening and why doomed? No, you'll have to go back and watch this live stream. We're not recapping everything. Who said you're doomed? You're doomed you're doomed if you don't do something. You're not doomed if you actually do something. That's the point. You got to do something. And President Camacho here again. House of Garcenda is connected to almost every royal bloodline through matriarchy. Pretty cool for a singer-songwriter, and also schizos who like rabbit holes. Brought to you by Carl's Jr. Carl's Jr. You don't even know President Camacho, do you? It's because you're a weakling. He's the only one who can save us. All right, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow with Testify, Lord willing.
All right.
We're going to go through some dope videos of Testify. He's got some funny stuff. Catch you all tomorrow.
All right. Catch y'all tomorrow.
And what?
Oh, and stay away from Islam.
That's a good idea.